the Speedway. At one point, it was being talked about being over on the east side of 435, and but I think I remember we were over by the racetrack in early summer, if not late spring, because I remember a conversation I had at the airport. You remember where you're traveling to.
Yeah.
So I remember exactly where we were date-wise. I know in July, going down to the Big 12, by that point we'd settled into the Speedway and the Southwest, the Southwest side, if you will, of Kansas Speedway being for the stadium, and the practice facility being at the K10 or Ridgeview area just south. If you think of family leisure, then there's a youth soccer complex, and then there's a lot of open land, and that land is what will be developed as the practice facility for the Kansas City Chiefs. There are a lot of details, timelines. There's a lot of things that have to be done, but a couple of things I think are worth noting. Number one, the Kansas City Chiefs did exactly what they said they would do. I've read a number of things that are out there from Missouri, from Kansas City, Missouri, from different people. They said all along, Mark Donovan, in my opinion, and the Kansas City Chiefs were very transparent. What we are going to do is get two finished plans. One finished plan over here to renovate Arrowhead Stadium, one finished plan for a new stadium and practice facility on the Kansas side. And we are going to do all the due diligence, and then we are going to present that to the Hunt family, and the Hunt family will make a decision. They did not get it done by the one-year deadline on the Star Bonds. I remember it was a year and a half ago. We had Sean Tarwater in here when they were just kicking this thing off. He said at that time, our goal is to make sure that the Royals and Chiefs remain in the region. If these Star Bonds, what they do is give incentive to Missouri to come up with an even better plan, and the Royals and Chiefs stay on the Missouri side, then so be it. That's great. But we think we have an excellent economic engine. We think we have locations. We think we can present them with a great offer. Whatever it is, we want them to stay here. I think as it progressed, probably both sides, I don't think Missouri ever wanted to lose them, but I think Kansas certainly wanted to win them more the longer it went on. Right? It wasn't just about keeping them in the region. I think when they started realizing they had a real chance to get them, they really wanted to get them. And they've got one of the teams. We'll get to the Royals in a minute. But they weren't ready to go. They didn't have everything in line, so they went for an extension. The extension is a one-year extension, but everybody agreed they would only need to the end of the year. That was very public about the Chiefs. You can remember Mark Donovan saying, well, I got to get somebody to respond to me. Like maybe he wasn't getting the replies he wanted from the Kansas side. Then things started moving very quickly. Right? So, and the Chiefs then, the thought was, well, it'll be done in the next few months, definitely by the end of the year. The Chiefs have done that. They have delivered on what they said they would do, and we'll see how many of the details we get when we get to the press conference. So, I think this is a good day for the region, right? For sure. Because it is, it assures, first and foremost, that these teams are going to stay, or that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to stay in the region. And that's the most important part of the equation. I think it's also a good day because this is the only plan that had a dome. And the only way you're going to get a Final Four is to have a dome. And that will be part of this plan, is that it will be a dome. I've heard a number of different things, that there'll be a field that rolls out, which would help it for concerts. You could have a hard surface for concerts and not be on the field, which means you could do more concerts because you're not covering the field and damaging all the grass. I mean, just to make it a much more versatile venue. We've talked about bowl games, Final Fours, a Super Bowl. I think you'd be in the mix for a Super Bowl, but convention business, concert shows, what have you. It'll bring a lot more events to the area.
We will officially be a fully metropolitan city.
Yeah.
We're not a town. Any thought that Kansas City was a town will be gone at that moment.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's the big picture, is that we're not going to lose the Kansas City Chiefs. We weren't in danger of it. But I think this is a much more it's more of a cosmopolitan decision, and it's better for the city. And I applaud the Hunt family, because I know there are a lot of people that are disappointed, that love Arrowhead, and that's where their memories of the Chiefs are, and that's where they want them to be and where they want them to stay. I get it. I do. I totally get it. And for you, I'm sorry that those memories, you're going to have 5 more years, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Yeah, 5 more years of Chiefs football in Arrowhead. And so I would encourage you to enjoy it and savor it. Those are great memories. But for the overall greater good of the city, this facility will be better.
And I think for the overall greater good of the team.
I think so, too.
Because I grew up in the shadow of Arrowhead. I can stand on the roof of my old house in Raytown and see the Arrowhead Stadium. I would hear the crowds through my bedroom window as a kid from both those stadiums. I grew up, very close to that thing. I want the team that I've rooted for since I was 10 years old to be as good as they possibly can. And if that means they go somewhere else, I'm okay with that.
Somewhere else in the Metro.
Yeah, in the Metro. For 46 years, that stadium was just had two postseason games. The stadium isn't the magic. It's the players that have made it magical, and those same players can make it magical somewhere else. All the things you've enjoyed the last 10 years at Arrowhead, you can enjoy somewhere else.
Yeah. I agree.
Transfers.
Arrowhead is the people. Arrowhead is the fans of Kansas City. It is not the concrete mass that is the structure. It is the people. And I think there are a number of things that need to be pointed out. Number one, yes, everybody will have to figure out their new routes. And so everyone who's got their perfectly planned, I go at this time and this route, it's going to be new. Change is scary. All us old farts got to figure out what the route's going to be. I get off at Snaya Bar and I duck in here and I cut over to I get in the right lane at this and then cut in on the traffic at all that. Yeah, you got to find new. But you know what they did do? They found a location that they're going to have giant parking lots.
Yeah.
The tailgating will continue.
Yes.
I hope the parking lots have a little more space.
Yeah.
So it's a little easier for those of us that don't want to get there 3 hours early to make their way up and down. But you're going to have the tailgating. That is part of the reason why the stadium is in one location and the practice facility is in another, to maximize the ability to have the tailgate feel. But what they will have with the practice facility is that will be a huge economic engine. They will be able to develop everything around it, and theoretically, and not just theoretically, I think what needs to happen is the Chiefs need to become more competitive on the signing bonuses. You're now going to be given this huge economic engine. You're now going to be given revenue streams that you didn't previously have. And so they're kind of tight when it comes to the signing bonuses, which can be a problem in getting things done. They're going to have a vastly more local revenue, which is not shared.
Right.
Like, this is revenue that stays in their pockets.
One of the things it isn't.
You build a medical plaza around the practice facility, that's your revenue, right? You're the landlord on that. And, this is where it's going. If you want professional sports, this is what you have to give to these teams. And the state of Kansas is giving it to them. And that area, I can just talk about the Cowboys, like it's a 12,000-seat indoor practice facility. They have 12,000 seats. St. Pius went down and played in Dallas in that building at the Star in Frisco. There will be the ability to have events in the new practice facility. I guarantee you, St. Joe, wave, because you're not going to be the home of training camp in 5 years. That will come back to an area where they can generate a lot more revenue because they will own the restaurants, and there will be restaurants. They can own the businesses, the hotels, for anybody that wants to travel in. That'll be right there in walking distance to get over to the facility and to see training camp. And it will be built with your creature comforts and your wallet in mind to generate more revenue for the football team. And, that's where it's going. And we had somebody who called and said, you're just pricing the little guy out. And I'm not going to say, this is going to sound flippant and be like, when had that ever not been the case?
Right.
Right. And I don't mean it flippantly. The answer is yes, because the NFL is the hottest ticket out there. Right. That's happening whether the Chiefs move or not, the price of NFL tickets. The question is, do you want a competitive team? Maybe you can't afford season tickets. Maybe now you can only go twice a year. Maybe you can only go once a year. Maybe you just end up watching on TV. But do you want a competitive team? I do. There's a limit to how much I'll spend. They reached it years ago. 30-plus years of having season tickets. They went beyond what I was willing to spend. So we all make our decisions on how to spend our money. But I want a competitive team, and I'm happy watching it from my house and watching a winner most games, as opposed to having cheap tickets and watching a turd. Was Sunday fun? Was not. So hard pass.
It was a hoot.
But, I think if somebody said, well, And I've heard some of the people that are frustrated on the Missouri side. Well, we didn't get a chance to vote for separate ones. I know. You need to blame your politicians. That's on them. You know, I mean, you could have turned around. You could have had a plan B. Where was it? Yeah, I heard after I put the news out there last Thursday, there was an announcement made from Mayor Lucas. Well, we don't negotiate in public. That was like the response to, me saying that they're going to announce this on Monday, that they're going to Kansas. Well, that's great because there are no negotiations left to be had.
Yeah.
I mean, it's over. This is it.
Yeah.
The checkmate.
A Pyrrhic victory.
And I'll come back to we really thought we had a competitive offer. You did have a competitive offer, but this one was better. And along the way, when you saw that Kansas was putting a dome and had land that was available for a training facility, why didn't you come up with that as well? Well, the Hunt family always said that they just wanted to renovate Arrowhead. Okay, but you knew what you were up against. I mean, the bottom line is this. Every fight comes down to who's willing to do what the other side isn't. That's it. That's every fight. If you don't want to call it a fight, call it a competition. You want to know who gets the sale? The salesperson who's willing to do what the other salesperson isn't. You want to know who gets the contract? You don't want to know which construction company gets the contract to build it? Well, whoever's willing to do what the other one isn't. That's what it comes down to.
Tale as old as time.
You can sit around and, waller in your own feces and whine and moan. The bottom line is there was a fight and you got beat because you weren't willing to do what the other side did. Now, here's the flip side of that. The Royals have not decided, right? This is the other thing I reported that not really anybody's talking about a lot on Thursday is that the Royals were not at this meeting. They're not done, which I've said all along. The Royals are way behind the Chiefs. There's a lot of frustration with, the people that are working with the Royals to try to get this done, and they're not where the Chiefs are. That is the first thing. The Chiefs got done what they needed to get done and got their deal. Does this diminish the Royals' chances? Does this harm their chances of getting the best possible deal in Kansas? I don't know. I don't think so. From the people I've talked to, the Star Bonds seem to be, nope, build your project wherever it is. I mean, the beauty of it is the new revenue is what pays the cost. And, I had one person say, well, the problem is that Kansas just has a bazooka of a revenue stream that Missouri can't compete with. But I also hear other people that are like, no, it's different, and it's coming from different places, but Missouri can compete. I think the question now is this the wake-up call for the state of Missouri? And do they circle the wagons and find a way to come up with an even better plan? Come up with even more. It's my understanding that Governor Keogh has worked very hard to try to keep both these teams. He's now lost one of them. Do you put all your energy into one? I have said for a long time, and I will reiterate, I think what's best for this area is for one to be in one state and one to be in the other. I don't see why one side of the state line in a city that's truly divided would carry the weight of the cost of both of these stadiums. But if, to keep us from having to hear the word Nashville when it comes to the Royals means that they go over to the Kansas side as well, we'll bring them on.
Yeah.
Put them in Kansas. Let's go. Because I don't want to hear that. I don't want to deal with that. So I want one of these three locations, Washington Square Park, North Kansas City, Clay County, or over here at the Sprint Campus / Blacken Beach. One of these to emerge and come away as the victor, because either way, I want the Royals here. But I think if you're Missouri and you've got a last best gasp, if you had divided your resources, you need to put them towards going after the Royals right now, or you're going to lose the Royals again. And you know what? You may have already lost the Royals. My understanding is Kansas is a slight lead, but there is pushback. That location is not hugely popular with people in Overland Park. Definitely not popular with people in Leawood. Right? So, there is a chance to get it done. I mean, it's not decided right now. You're in the fight. Are you willing to do what the other side won't do to keep this ball club? The politicians can send out tweets and statements and whatever they want and have all the excuses as to why they didn't ultimately get it done. The fight is now. Are you willing to do what the other side is not and keep this baseball team? The Royals, I think, have been off kilter from the get-go when they announced that they are going to build a stadium, but it'll definitely be in Jackson County. was, as I told you at the time, ridiculous. I don't know why you would do that.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons why we are where we are today. But now they're listening to all offers, and they need to start putting things together because you know what will happen? The Chiefs have gotten it done. Very quickly, the Royals are going to become villains. People are going to get tired of hearing about why they can't figure it out because the other team that needs 2 sites for what it wanted to do got it done. They got 2 locations done. The Royals need 1 location. You know, are there hurdles to meet? Yes, but there's still just 1 location, and you have yet to be able to secure that. Now, I always talk about when you're a team, talking about on the field, you got to look at yourself and be honest about who you are. We want to throw the ball over the field. Well, if you don't have anyone who can block, bad idea. If you don't have a quarterback that can throw, bad idea. The Royals need to look in the mirror and realize that we're behind. Why are we behind? We need to change what we're doing. As I understand it, the lobbyists on the Chiefs side, many more than on the Royals side, they hit the ground running immediately after the vote, and we're ready to move forward. And the Royals have been spinning their wheels. And so here we sit. The Star Bonds will run out for the Royals. And at that point, you're dealing with just the state of Missouri. Do you really think you're going to get your best offer when you're dealing with just the state of Missouri? I don't. I don't think you are. And let me point something out. The state of Missouri has now lost the St. Louis Browns, the Kansas City A's, the St. Louis Rams, the St. Louis Cardinals.
Football team.
Yes, Cardinals football
listening.
team. The Kansas City Scouts.
Kings.
The Kansas City Kings and the St. Louis Hawks.
And Sporting.
And Sporting Kansas City.
So they've already lost 8. This will be 9.
8 of the 5 major sports have left the state of Missouri.
This will be 9.
That's what they do, is lose professional sports teams. And there's a reason in each case as to why they left and why the politicians from the state of Missouri will tell you, well, we weren't going to do this or we weren't going to do that. Okay. 8 times you have not found a way to keep the sports teams in your area. So, it's because our government has fix it. Like, that's it. This is decade upon decade upon decade of losing sports teams. You're going to lose another one. You're going to lose another one if you don't get this done. I think we even forgot one in there. Didn't we say 8 and 9 was going to be?
No, I think we had 7. This would be 8.
Yeah.
And there's actually are 8, and there's now 9 because we'd forgotten. We hadn't thought about Sporting.
Okay.
So 4 from the KC area, 4 from the St. Louis area. The Chiefs will be the 5th team from the KC area to abandon Missouri.
And so there is a 10th team in play.
St. Louis had a NASCAR track, but I think it was on the Illinois side.
Okay. But, yeah. So that's where we sit today. We'll talk about it. We'll take your phone calls, 913-3-810-810, 913-3-810-810. We'll talk about the Chiefs. Ugly loss. What makes it uglier? They tried. That was part of the problem as well. We'll do that next here in the program. 913-3-810-810. All right, listen up. Football season is in full swing. Underdog is your best place to get in on all the action. You can make entries and win money right now in Missouri. Playing on Underdog is super easy. I know I did it this weekend. Just choose whether your favorite player will go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. Get your entries right. You can win up to 5,000 times your cash. I'm here to tell you I had Cam Ward higher on the passing yards. I just thought, I don't see it. I don't see where the Chiefs are coming in with any emotion. It just gives you a reason to have more than a rooting interest on the game. If you love football, you're going to love Underdog, right? It's so simple and so easy. Start by downloading the app. Use the promo code SOREN, S-O-R-E-N. You can score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code SOREN, S-O-R-E-N. It's all at Underdog. We got Monday Night Football tonight. Are you going higher or lower on which stat? Rushing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns. It's all right there. And like I said, if you get your entries right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. But you got to have the app. Download the Underdog app. Use promo code SOREN. Score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. At Underdog, make plays, win money. Carry On My Wayward Son, is that because they're carrying on to?
No.
Is there a reason for this?
The band.
Oh, Kansas. Oh.
Yeah. I had a version that was just the music.
Okay.
That's okay.
So you're throwing Drake under the bus.
No.
Guy's in here on his day off.
He's on his day off.
Kyle Collier abandoned his post.
He did. He's still kind of working a little bit.
It is the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHP. We'll take your phone calls right now at 913-381-810-810. Announcement, the official announcement coming, even though it's been made official. The vote is passed, 8-0. The Chiefs are moving to Kansas, as we reported on Thursday here. By the way, I want to thank Todd Lebo, and I want to thank Chad Boger, and I want to thank Stephen St. John, who all worked on this a lot. I know we had a number of meetings together, different things, and we'll continue to. And I will tell you that, years and years, especially like, our boss, Chad Boger, insufferable pain in the ass. I mean, just an ogre of a guy.
Jiminy Christmas.
No, we've talked about it. We have the best boss.
Yeah.
That you and I have worked in this business for a while. We have the best
Not even
boss
close.
around. But also his connections and him being a part of this community and as a businessman has been a huge help in covering the story.
Yep.
And he's been a huge help in covering the story, as has Todd, and as I mentioned, Steven. I know we've been in a number of different meetings together and working on this. And so, like I said, all of us are from Kansas City. I mean, this is where we're from, born and raised. I've been here a long time, know a lot of people from various different things, whether it's nobody MCs more charity events than Steven. You meet a lot of people when you're out there. And Steven's contacts, Todd's, Chad's, mine, yours, everybody here, has come in real handy. And it's been a big part of being able to cover this story the way we have and ultimately giving you first the news that they were moving to Kansas.
There's a lot of things about the station that make me glad to work here. The way you guys particularly have handled this story make me proud to work at this place.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun endeavor. Because when you're talking about your hometown.
Yep.
So good times. 913-381-810-810. A lot of people lining up. Let's get to the phones. Lane, you're in the program. Lane, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm actually riding back from Wichita to Jeff City, where I was born and raised in Missouri. Wanted to quickly touch base on kind of the uniqueness between the battle between Missouri and Kansas. As I said, I'm a born and raised Missourian. I've been following Kansas City since my first game, 2008, Dolphins Chiefs. Been following this team. Obviously, feel thankful for all the success they've had. But got to say, I think a lot of the hate that I'm seeing online from the Missouri side is the frustration with losing a team that they've been going to and calling them on the Missouri side. I'm a graduate at University of Missouri as well, and recently moved to Wichita full time in Kansas. And I got to say, I think that overall, when you look at the long-term outlook, I think you guys kind of nailed it. You're going to have better facilities. Those cold winter games, well, there is an atmosphere that kind of creates competitiveness at Arrowhead, and having been a season ticket member for a few years now, I think that the Dome is going to offer, not only, as you said, maybe additional sports experiences, but I think that you're also going to have more accessibility for those who might not be able to have those cold winter games. And overall, I think it's a huge loss for the state of Missouri when it comes to revenue standpoint. But I mean, props to Kansas for putting together a competitive plan that Lamar Hunt and Brent Donovan were able to kind of come together with. But overall, just pretty pleased with it. Even though I'm a Missouri guy, I'm super excited to enjoy these next 5 years at Arrowhead, and look forward to seeing what plans come together once they make that official announcement here.
Yeah, and I think we all look forward. And Lane, I don't think they're making the move. And thank you for the call, buddy. And I think your attitude is one that I hope everyone eventually adopts if you don't already have it, and that is they're staying in Kansas City.
Yes.
I mean, we are still a city that is punching above its weight class. We are a city that's metropolitan area is not in. It's growing, but it's not growing at the rate that other cities are. Columbus, Las Vegas, Austin, all going by Kansas City in the coming census. They're all growing at a faster rate. Kansas City, which at one time was like 1920, I think overall, as far as the biggest cities in America, like back when these teams came here. We're used to saying 32, 33. We're very soon to be 36, 37, 38 because of the rates of growth of other markets and other areas. And so, to have these teams secured here is priority number one. That's priority number one, is to have it be the Kansas City Chiefs and not the San Antonio Chiefs or the Austin Chiefs, which I don't think we were anywhere near. And I think the Hunt family and the Chiefs organization deserve some credit. This got done without having to threaten the people of Kansas City. And I think, the fact that both sides of the state line were trying to get this deal done created a competitive environment and forced each state to put their best foot forward. And that is part of the reason why we didn't have to be held hostage as fans and hear about how, well, we're going to move. Because the two sides both put forth a spirited effort to try to keep the teams.
I don't remember. I lived in Kansas now for a little over 20 years, grew up in Missouri, but I don't remember there being a big hue and cry from people in Kansas about the Chiefs being in Missouri. They simply bought the tickets and went and watched the games and then went back home after the games and, enjoyed it or whatever. It doesn't matter. They're moving a little bit west. There's a line there that's somewhat important, but
I think it matters today.
When
you
does
lose
a bit, but
it
matters
more.
If you lose it, then to just have it not be there. Yeah, that's a good distinction.
I'll go back 2 years ago when they had the vote, and I said, if you're what you want, my opinion on the vote was vote no. I don't like this plan. The Chiefs part of the plan, I don't think is good enough. There's no part of renovating Arrowhead that I thought made sense for the city.
No.
You were going to dump $1 billion into a building that was going to generate no new revenue for the metropolitan area. Nothing new, not one thing new was going to come to Kansas City or be generated from putting more money into Arrowhead Stadium. And I will say that if I were to tell the Missouri people, if somebody said, hey, we're figuring out what to do with the Miami Dolphins, what can we learn from what happened over here? I'd say, just because somebody doesn't put the plan in front of you doesn't mean you can't put a better plan out there. Like Missouri not coming up with a plan for a dome and a second location for a training facility that they could generate extra revenue around is what lost. Ultimately, I think if you left it to the Hunts, I think the Hunts wanted to stay at Arrowhead Stadium. But ultimately, the revenue generation, the business deal was so much better in their mind, I'm guessing we're going to hear, that they felt like they had no choice.
Did Missouri put too much weight into the idea of Arrowhead, the Arrowhead mystique?
Yes.
They thought that would carry the day.
Clearly. And I think, like I said, what you're going to hear from them is like, well, the Chiefs didn't tell us they wanted a dome. They talked about renovating Arrowhead. To which I would say, was there anything in the history of Kansas City, Missouri, Jackson County, and the state of Missouri that would lead you to believe that if we went, hey, let's triple the size of the package, that Kansas City, Missouri would get on board? You had a vote on an $800 million renovation, and you said no. Why would that be the inspiration for the Chiefs to go out and say, well, give us $4 billion? Which is, I'm guaranteeing you, they're going to top $4 billion on the numbers that are going on over on the Kansas side. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, there was a fight, and you lost, period. End of discussion. Jerry, you're in the program. What's going on, Jerry?
Just thinking about everything you guys have been saying, I kind of concur with the first caller you had, and first I wanted to wish you guys Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Hey, thanks, Jerry.
And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to the state of Kansas. And I am in St. Joe, and I'm a lifelong resident. I've been to many games at Arrowhead Stadium and Kauffman Stadium. First time I ever went to Arrowhead Stadium, I went to see a concert, Metallica and Guns N' Roses, and I believe Lebo was there. But I never was prejudiced about where I went to see concerts. I saw 70-some different artists in a 3-year period all over Kansas City, from Bonner Springs to Smithville Lake to Starlight, anywhere you wanted to go. And I really enjoyed it. So more power to you guys. And I've already waved goodbye to the Chiefs training camp. I'm still rooting for everybody and all that stuff. But I've been here all my life, and I've never once gone to a training camp. Now, I know everybody that goes, they enjoy it. And I've met so many different stars. I don't really have to go star searching anymore. But I appreciate the call, and I hope I didn't take too long.
No, you're good, Jerry, and I appreciate where you're at. I know there are going to be some frustrated and upset and disappointed people in Missouri. Let's hope that in time that they'll get beyond it, because it's still your football team. It's still in your town. I know there's this great state rivalry. For me, I've said it. I live in Kansas. I was born in St. Louis. I got relatives going to Mizzou. I got a wife who went to K. It don't mean squat to me. Like, I think it's fun to watch you guys, bicker around, but doesn't mean anything to me. But I know some people have some hard feelings. But I think at the end of the day, I would put the metro area, Kansas City, put your team being in your city as the top part of the equation. Jason, you're in the program. What's up, Jason?
Yeah, hey, Sharon. Thanks for taking my call. First of all, I want to say I really appreciate you guys and your work you've done on this over the past 2 years to keep us informed, and you've been very accurate. As far as the stadium goes, I got a problem with the dome. I mean, you go back even to the 80s, you look at the dynasties and who won those Super Bowls. Redskins, open air. Giants, open air. 49ers, open air. Dallas Cowboys, open air. They've done nothing since they moved to Jerry World. Denver Broncos, Chiefs, Patriots, open air. I know you're going to say, well, those teams had good quarterbacks and for great coaching, sure. But Sean Payton, Drew Brees, Dome, won Super Bowl. Tony Dungy, Peyton Manning, Dome, won Super Bowl. Dick Vermeil, St. Louis Rams, Dome, won Super Bowl. And so for me, I would much rather watch the Chiefs play in Atlanta in the Super Bowl than have a Super Bowl and choose your corporate entity's name stadium here in Kansas City, Kansas, between the Bills and the Eagles. So I'm not thrilled about the Dome. I'm a lifelong Missouri resident. I can tell you from here, there's going to be a lot of backlash. I don't think that you and the Chiefs are kind of underestimating how much backlash there is from this side of the state.
Well, I'm not underestimating it. I think it'll be there, but I don't think it's going to hurt the Chiefs' bottom line. And I think eventually you'll be like, "Oh, I want to go to a Chiefs game," and you'll go. It's like,
sure.
do you remember the smoking ban? Do you know how many people like in this town when they were going to ban smoking in the bars? Like, well, you're killing the bars. No one's going to go to the bars anymore if you can't smoke. It took 2 weeks, and all the bar owners that I knew, who, by the way, some of them out front page of the Star, protesting the smoking ban. 2 weeks later, like, yeah, it took about 2 weeks, and my business was exactly where it was. We put a little ledge so they could put their beer bottle next to the door and walk out. Like, I hear you. I think you're upset. Will you go as much? No. Like, is somebody in Grain Valley going to go clear over there as much as they did? But the growth is on the southwest part of Kansas City. It's on the south side of Kansas City. It's in Lee Summit on the Missouri side. It's in, and there's a ton of it in the Olathe area, in Lawrence, in the areas between Lawrence. Like, whoever doesn't go from over there will be people on the west side that do go. So I mean, it will change. Yes, I don't think there's any doubt that if you were on the east part of Missouri, of Kansas City, Missouri, and or like I said, out in Grain Valley and those areas, if you are up in Liberty, and it was a pretty quick trip, are you going to go as much? No, probably not. But as somebody that was in Olathe, who didn't want to truck it all the way over there, who went once every 2 years, are they going to go more often when it becomes a 15-minute trip for them? Yes, they are.
Okay. But my main concern was about the Dome. I mean, what do you say about that? I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, the stats are out there. I mean, could the Chiefs buck the trend? Sure. But there's been plenty of Dome stadiums, and we can go through them all. And, I mean, only a handful of them have won a Super Bowl or even got there. And to me, that's the biggest issue. Look, I'll still watch the Chiefs. It's not as big a deal for me. I'm just telling you kind of what I'm hearing from my friends and people around here,
Yeah, there's no doubt. They're going to get a – and, Jason, thanks for the call. And I do want to – there will be less attendance from people in Missouri. I think it's – there will be more attendance from people in Kansas. I mean, I think that will make up for it. Like, but to your point about the Dome, I wish it was a retractable roof dome, that it was open on nice days. I'm going to tell you, I think there is no reason for people to lose fingers and toes to watch a playoff game. I think it's asinine. All right? And I had a buddy who's like, hey, I got a ticket for you. And I'm like, not a snowball's chance in hell I am going to sit out in that weather. No.
If you paid me the face value, I
wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it. God bless you people that did. Yeah. I hope you all came away with your fingers and toes, but it's ridiculous.
Some didn't, though.
Yeah. And so, but to your point that there's a cause and effect, do you have more of a home field advantage with the cold weather? Yes, I do believe so.
Yeah.
You do. But would you like a Super Bowl here? Would you like a bowl game here? Would you like a college football playoff game here? Would you like a, Final Four here? I say yes to all of those things. That's never coming to Arrowhead. And to me, the trade-off is worth it. The bottom line is the home field advantage better? Yes. But, you hit upon it. Well, only one Super Bowl for the Colts. Well, they went to 2 with Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
By the way, he went to Denver, and he went to 2.
Yeah, and the Rams went to 2 Super Bowls in domes, 2 different domes.
Yeah.
In addition to the Saints.
Well, no, but the Rams, he's talking about the home field. Where they played the Super Bowl, the home field of being a dome, that you don't, you can't get there as often.
Well, I mean, the Rams went to the Super Bowl playing in the dome in St. Louis.
Yeah, they went to 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's they played it, they won 1, played in 2. Look, the quarterback is the most important part of the equation. If the Chiefs want to win championships, they need to get the quarterback right first and foremost. 913-3-810-810. Let's take a break. You're in the program. Take more of your phone calls next. All right, let me ask you a question. Is your holiday shopping done? If the answer to that question is no, and you've got somebody who likes jewelry, who doesn't like jewelry, who doesn't have somebody on their shopping list that loves jewelry, Jocelyn's Jewelry is Kansas City's best. They've been voted the top jewelry store in Kansas City. You want to know why? Well, incredible selection, that's one. Best customer service, exquisite jewelry, exceptional service. You're treated like family the moment you walk in the door. Plus, they're the most knowledgeable staff around. Go to a lot of the big box jewelry stores, you're going to find somebody who was selling cars or mortgages a couple of weeks ago, not somebody who's been working for 30 years at a jewelry store. You'll find that kind of expertise at Jocelyn's Jewelry. There's a reason why we say they're the gold standard in fine jewelry. Plus, being located at 95th and Antioch, they're just a mile north of 435, right there on the southeast corner of 95th and Antioch. So no matter where you are in the metro area, they're easy to get to. Whether you need an engagement ring, almost 1,000 to choose from. If it's that time to ask that most important question, make sure you get the best ring possible. Jocelyn's Jewelry has all kinds of great gifts, like diamond stud earrings, stackable necklaces, pearls, tennis bracelets, even those birthstone pieces, like hundreds to choose from in each birthstone. So if you want a truly unique jewelry gift, a beautiful jewelry gift, an exquisite jewelry gift, you go to Jocelyn's Jewelry. You'll get the best service and you'll get the best price. Great jewelry at a fair price. That's what Jocelyn's Jewelry's always been about. And they've got options for you at every price point. So what are you waiting for? Get in your car right now. The clock is ticking. Get to 95th and Antioch, southeast corner, to Jocelyn's Jewelry, the gold standard in fine jewelry.
Tasty baseline. Never good. We just got back.
Give you a heads up or something. 7 million. All of a sudden, the entire
Stuff is happening.
there's like 9 sports stations in Denver,
Really?
and they all.
It's all-
There's like 4.
Yeah.
And they're all.
It's all a Bronco, former Bronco, and
Like
somebody.
I can give you all 4 of them right here on my text thread. Now you're gonna be free. We got a window, 7 minutes. Well, nothing like jumping on it early, boys. 913-810-810, the phone number. Taking your phone calls here. We're going up to 3 o'clock. We'll carry the announcement, the official announcement of the Chiefs moving to Kansas. There's going to be, I think, just several people speaking. Then they're going to do a scrum. So Todd Lebo will be sending back some of the scrum. We'll get Todd Lebo on from Topeka eventually.
Todd is the king of the scrum.
He is. He's the guy that puts his head down and then leads with his shoulders.
Yeah.
And he wears the wrap around his ears.
Scheduled to speak.
That's
Governor,
a rugby term.
Yes, it
the
is.
wrap
The wrap.
tapes his ears down.
He does.
Yeah.
Scheduled to speak Governor Laura Kelly, Lieutenant Governor David Toland, Clark Hunt, and the President of the Kansas Senate, Ty Masterson.
Okay. 913-810-810. Dave, you're next in the program. What's going on, Dave?
Well, Merry Christmas, gentlemen.
Same to you, my friend.
Thanks. I was born in Trenton in northwest Missouri in the 60s, and one of my first recollections is Mike Garrett taking 65 toss power trap into the end zone to win the Super Bowl. But I've lived in Indiana for about 45 years, and the distance of being 500 miles away, first off, thank you to you guys at 810 and to the guys at the Star, because you guys are my lifeline to my favorite team. But I think that the distance affords me a little bit of not being polarized by the Missouri versus Kansas debate, and it just seems from this distance that Missouri dropped the ball. I mean, blame it on whoever you blame it on, Frank White or who else, but when the vote failed, they didn't come back with any counter, it didn't seem to me like, and Kansas stepped in and filled a void, and now they're going to reap the benefit of that void.
Yeah, I think there's no way to look at it any other way. I mean, State of Kansas stood back. I think the team said, hey, we're going to try to get this done. They gave Jackson County first shot. Did they have the best plan? I mean, I don't think so. That's why I thought if what you want is what's best for the team's long-term success, then vote no. If what you want is to keep the teams in Jackson County, you need to vote yes, because I said at that time. Because I'm telling you, as soon as a no comes back, Kansas will be there ready to offer these teams. And so no one in the government on the Missouri side can act like they were shocked or stunned in how things were played. If you didn't like the package that you were putting up for a vote, you should have worked harder to put a better package up for a vote the first time, because that was the only shot you were going to get. Both these teams gave you the first vote. And if you didn't like what the Chiefs were doing, then you needed to wage war. Like I said, every fight is won by the side that's willing to do what the other side isn't. And if what you did was just let the Chiefs lay something up there or the Royals lay something up there that you didn't think was good enough, then you should have worked harder to make sure that what they put up there for a vote was better.
Yeah, and I thought that these last 2 or 3 days when we've seen these announcements from different Missouri officials, we've put together a competitive offer, and we're still willing to, that's kind of, the horse is already out of the barn, guys.
Well, and they did, and Dave, thank you for the call, and thanks for the kind words. They did put up a competitive offer. It was competitive, but it wasn't the winning offer, right? And you were in a fight. You had one shot to do it where you didn't have to worry about the state of Kansas.
Yeah.
You knew it. If you didn't, you're a clown. You should be fired off incompetence. If you didn't know Kansas was coming, you're incompetent. Because I have sat here in this chair for more than 15 years, no, for at least 10 years, and told you that even back at the time of the renovation, the location where the practice facility was going was Plan C for a new football stadium for the Chiefs. Now, the stadium's not going to go there, but the practice facility is. I have told you from this chair. Now, if you think I'm a clown, if you're a Missouri politician and you don't listen to the show, or you didn't believe what people told you about what I was saying, okay, that's your business. But I have told you for a fact that the renovations as they went down was Plan A. Plan B was to renovate Arrowhead Stadium and build a downtown baseball stadium. And Plan C was a downtown Kansas City, Missouri baseball stadium and a football stadium at the heart of a mixed-use development at K10 and Ridgeview. So if you are shocked that that's a location, you're incompetent. Period. And by the way, listen, I've seen some of the media coverage that's out there. You haven't done your homework if this shocks you. Somebody said, well, maybe, I read one thing, maybe we'll get some clarity on what this Kansas bid is. Maybe you should talk to somebody in Kansas. Because if you didn't have an idea of where they were going, you, A, don't listen to this show, because I've been telling you for months exactly where those buildings would go. And they're going exactly where I told you they would go. And we've talked about that for months. Didn't know if Kansas was going to get it, but I said if Kansas does, here's where your stadium will go, here's where your practice facility will go. So nobody can sit and claim ignorance unless you're just flat out ignorant. That's it. Crush, real quick, you got 45 seconds. Wrap us up, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Not really concerned too much about the San Antonio Chiefs. What are they going to do, move? That's funny. That's funny if they moved. And $4 billion at Kansas, where are they getting that $4 billion? Shouldn't they spend that on their people? It's funny. I don't give a damn about these sports teams anymore.
All right, I appreciate it, buddy. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of other people that agree, but the idea is that those sports teams bring in a lot of revenue, will bring in a lot of tax money, that they will increase the amount of revenue that there is to spend on the people. That is the idea. I assume some people will do some fact-checking and will find, and people will debate about that. They have. I remember the debates about renovating the stadiums back in the day. There were numerous articles written in. It will be a debate that continues. I think we're a better town having these teams in this town, personally.
All right, who was the Chiefs starting quarterback the last time they were a 12.5-point dog at home?
We got a reason for this one?
I like it.
Local band.
They're from Australia.
Oh, I thought this was
It's Midnight Oil.
okay. I'm thinking it was just somebody else that had a similar. Wasn't there a local band that had a similar kind of type of singer? Rainmakers or something.
I don't know.
I was thinking Drake would, but he's obviously working.
I don't think Walkenhorse sounds like that.
No, there was somebody else. I thought that was. Anyway.
Yeah. We are waiting for the
Yes.
press conference to begin. We've got applause. There it is. Let's go out and hear the press conference. I think we're going to start with Governor Laura Kelly.
Good afternoon. I'm David Toland. I serve both as Lieutenant Governor and Secretary of Commerce, and it is an honor to welcome you to this historic announcement. Today has been made possible by a group of dedicated people on this stage, in this room, and around our state who came together. Led by Governor Kelly, leaders put political party aside, they put personal agendas aside, and they put our state's future above all else. And now today's announcement, which Governor Kelly will make momentarily, will represent the largest economic win in Kansas history. And this win will also cement Kansas as a global destination for sports and entertainment. And it seems like Governor Kelly and I are making major announcements every few months, from Panasonic to Merck Animal Health to Hilmar Cheese. And with today's announcement, the Kelly administration has now topped $30 billion in committed private sector investment and 80,000 jobs. But the best part is nothing is bigger than what we're going to announce today. Though, make no mistake, the Chiefs aren't just another economic win for Kansas. This is much bigger than that. The Chiefs are a part of who we are as Kansans. And now they'll be such an important part of our future for years and for generations to come. Let me speak about our governor now. Since the moment that Governor Kelly took office, she's been on a mission, first to get our state back on track, and then to invest in the future and to make sure that Kansas is the best place in America to raise a family. She has done just that. Years ago, Kansas was making headlines for the wrong reasons. But today, now, we're making national and global news, and this time for all the right reasons. Our future in Kansas is very bright, thanks to the leadership of a transformative governor. Please welcome our governor, Laura Kelly.
Good afternoon, everybody. And oh, what an afternoon it is. Before I get started, though, I need to recognize the good, hard work of our Lieutenant Governor and Secretary of Commerce, David Toland, and his absolutely superb team at Commerce. They worked day in and day out, around the clock, in concert with the legislature and with the chiefs to make this dream come true. We would not be here today were it not for David Toland's patience, persistence, and perseverance. So on behalf of every Chiefs-loving fan, I thank you, David. But no, I will not be renegotiating your paycheck. You know, in my over 7 years, well, 7 years as governor, I've had the privilege of making some really big announcements, but none bigger than this. Today's announcement is truly historic. Actually, it's a little bit surreal. Today's announcement will touch the lives of Kansans for generations to come. Today's announcement is a total game changer for our state. Because today we are announcing an agreement to bring our beloved Kansas City Chiefs right here to Kansas. And to the rest of the nation, I say, take heed. Kansas is not a flyover state. We are a touchdown state. You know, when I became governor in 2019, I first needed to fix Kansas, then to grow Kansas. And the way to do that was not only to attract new businesses and jobs to Kansas, but to change people's perceptions of our state. People needed to see Kansas for what it is, a place of innovation, a place where big things happen, a place where young people can pursue their dreams. Truly the best place to live, work, and raise a family. A place they're proud to call home. A very cool place. And what could be cooler than being home to the Kansas City Chiefs? We are turning Kansas into a national center for sports and entertainment. We are making Kansas a tourist destination for the region, for the nation, and for the world. The economic impact of all of this is massive. The new stadium will be in Wyandotte County. It will be a world-class facility, the envy of professional sports. It will be surrounded by an entertainment district to beat all entertainment districts, hotels and restaurants and bars and more. Game day will be all day. And there's more, a lot more. The Chiefs will establish a new team headquarters and a brand new practice facility in Olathe, Kansas. All of this will amount to over 20,000 jobs and over $4 billion in economic impact. And that's just during the construction phase. That's electricians and construction workers, iron workers and carpenters, good jobs, jobs that support families. And very significantly, this agreement protects Kansas taxpayers, with the state's portion coming from revenue generated by the stadium, entertainment venues, and the Star Bond District, as well as lottery funds. So let me repeat, the state's portion of this project is paid for with revenue generated from the project, not with new taxes, not by shifting funding from other essential state services, but with the new revenue that will be generated by the project itself. You know, when we talk about the Chiefs in Kansas, it's not just about the dollars and the cents and the new jobs and the prestige. It's about bringing together two forces, the Chiefs and the state of Kansas, that have so much in common: a rich tradition, a solid work ethic, an all for one, one for all approach to living, a healthy competitive spirit, and a love of winning. The Chiefs won 3 Super Bowls over the past 5 years because they worked hard and they worked together. I can brag that it was during my tenure in office that the Chiefs were so successful. And also why they decided to move to Kansas. But this win is not mine alone to celebrate. Just look behind me on the stage. This got done because we brought Republicans and Democrats together at the local and state level. Everyone committed to doing what's best for Kansas and for our future. You don't often see this type of bipartisanship in our politics today, but that's how we do things here in Kansas, especially when the stakes are high. And to Clark Hunt and the entire Chiefs organization, you, your family, your entire organization are one class act. Winners on and off the field. And Clark, I know you chose Kansas because you've always got an eye on the future. Well, so do we. We've always been Chiefs fans, and now we are Chiefs family. Welcome home to Kansas.
Thank you, Governor Kelly, and thank you all for being here today on this very historic day for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Hunt family. When my father started the American Football League, he had big dreams, both for the league and for his team. And as he moved the team from the Cotton Bowl to Municipal Stadium to Arrowhead Stadium, his focus in every instance was to give the fans the best possible experience. Today is another step in that legacy of innovation and that fan-first mentality. At the Kansas City Chiefs, we chase big dreams. On the field, those dreams involve division titles, conference championships, and Lombardi trophies. But off the field, we are big dreamers as well. When the NFL started playing international games, we were among the first to sign up with the goal of bringing the Kansas City name all across the planet. When North America won the bid to host the World Cup, we helped lead the effort to bring the world's most popular tournament to our backyard. As the age of modern media changed the landscape for our fans, we became the first NFL team to create our own entertainment studio. And our community engagement efforts through the Hunt Family Foundation are dedicated to ensuring that our impact reaches far beyond football. We are big dreamers, and my family and I have devoted our lives to making big dreams come true. The state of Kansas came to us and told us about their big dream. It's a state-of-the-art stadium, a world-class training facility, a new team headquarters, and a vibrant mixed-use development. It's a public-private partnership whose primary beneficiaries are the citizens of the greater Kansas City area. It's a big dream, and today is a major step in making it a reality. Don't get me wrong, we have a lot of work to do. We're still early in the process. In the months ahead, we will hire an architect and a contractor and get to work on the 5+ year timeline to build a new stadium. And I can't say enough about our great partners. Thank you, Governor Kelly and Lieutenant Governor Tolan, for sharing your vision. Thank you, Senate President Masterson, Speaker Hawkins, and members of the LCC, for helping to make this vision a reality. Thank you to Mayor Watson, Mayor Bacon, and the local government leaders who have joined in their effort. Thank you to Mark Donovan, our team president, for working with leaders on both sides of the state line to make today possible. Chiefs fans everywhere owe you a debt of gratitude. I also want to say thank you to the leaders in Missouri. For more than 50 years, we've had a tremendous partners in Jefferson City, Jackson County, and Kansas City, Missouri. That partnership is not over, and we look forward to working together in the years ahead. Chiefs fans on both sides of the state line can tell you that the success that we've enjoyed together over the past decade has elevated the profile of the entire region. Sports are woven into the fabric of this community. And if you travel and go to New York or LA, to Europe or South America, you don't have to tell people which side of the state line you're from. You tell them you're from Kansas City, and there's a pretty good chance that the response might have something to do with the Chiefs. Regardless of where you live or where you're watching from today, I hope this team has made you proud, and I hope you are as excited as we are about this next chapter in Chiefs history. I'll close by saying this. In the 60-plus years of this franchise, we have called 3 stadiums home, and we have brought home a championship to every single one of those stadiums. Today's announcement ensures that for generations to come, Chiefs fans will have the best game day experience in the entire National Football League, that our children and grandchildren will have a place for their own unforgettable moments. And I promise you this, we'll do everything we can to bring trophies home to Kansas. Beginning with the 2031 season, the location of Chiefs games will change. But some things won't change. Our fans will still be the loudest in the NFL. Our games will still be the best place in the world to tailgate, and our players and coaches will be ready to compete for championships. Because on the field or off the field, we're big dreamers, and we're ready for the next chapter. Thank you very much.
Hold on a second.
Right out of there, taking photos with a jersey. So a little
So,
photo
Mr.
op
Hunt,
here.
I want to celebrate your coming here, and the Department of Commerce had this wonderful trophy designed just for you, just to celebrate today. And welcome to Kansas.
Thank you very much.
In case you're wondering, the 31 on the jersey is for 2031, when the stadium will open in Kansas.
They thought it was my age.
As both the governor and Mr. Hunt have said, it takes a team to get us here, and this has been a truly bipartisan effort, and we're grateful to have our LCC members who just voted for this extraordinary agreement here on stage with us. And I'd like to introduce the LCC Chairman, Senate President Ty Masterson, and Vice Chairman, Speaker Dan Hawkins.
All right, and this fun. This is good. You know, big things like this happen, everybody rushes to take credit, but like David said, the truth is, it's just like on the football field, it's a team sport. You know, that's a group of men doing something very different in their own capacity to function as one unit, and you saw that here. So thank you for the effort you put in, David. Really, thanks to the legislature, thanks to the LCC, thank you very much to the Hunt family. So it's, you know, I feel like the team. I'm going to use some football analogies if you'll give me. You know, this game started. That scoring drive really started far enough back to go back to former Speaker Reichman in the Kansas House. And this thing started in the legislature. That's where the scoring drive started, right, with allowing legislation that made that happen. And then teamwork takes it down the field. And it was really just the tush-push by the LCC today, right, that put this thing over the line. I feel like Kansas won the Super Bowl today. That is, and really the congratulations, the real congratulations go to Chiefs Kingdom. This is going to be amazing, right? It is already a top shelf experience at Arrowhead, but you're going to have a better traffic experience. You're going to have a better tailgating experience. You're going to have a better seat, better view, and there's just going to be amazing things happen in Kansas. And the other person to congratulate is the Kansas taxpayer to pull this off without raising a single tax. Not a penny raised in new tax. It's all built on growth. So congratulations all around. Thank you guys for celebrating with us. God bless you. God bless the great state of Kansas.
Today is truly an exciting day for Kansas all over the state. And quite frankly, it's not something that I ever dreamed could be possible during the tenure of my tenure as Kansas Speaker of the House. But what some of you may not know, prior to serving as Speaker, I was a small business owner. And that leads me to an approach on all decisions that I make with the role of what businesses can provide for the state of Kansas. When this opportunity first presented itself and the legislature discussed using the Star Bond legislation to establish a funding tool that could help make a home for the Chiefs here in Kansas, it certainly piqued my interest, and I would have to say Ron Reichman helped pique that interest. Of course, the team brings a lot of excitement, and you got to love the economic potential for our state and the region. But what also makes this opportunity unique is that Star Bonds ensure that Kansas taxpayers are not on the hook. We would never use state general fund money or implement a sales tax just for this purpose, like we've seen other states do. That's simply not the Kansas way. Star Bonds make an opportunity like this realistic for our state and make it a good deal for Kansans. There are many wins in the proposal passed by the LCC today, and the economic benefit speaks for itself. 20,000 jobs come into the state of Kansas, 20,000. Over $4 billion in economic activity, and that's just from the construction alone. We're looking at over $1 billion annually after that. Beyond the new world-class stadium, there will be new restaurants, hotels, and small businesses just like you've heard. Quite frankly, I believe the biggest economic win we'll ever have in the state of Kansas. And we did it all while protecting Kansas taxpayers' dollars. That has always been critically important to me and my colleagues in the legislature. On top of that, I'm looking forward to taking my girls and their families to a Chiefs game right here in Kansas. Maybe they'll also bring a great rodeo to that beautiful stadium. I had to throw that in. Actually, I was talking to one of the people from the Chiefs today and found out he's a really big rodeo fan too, so I've got an ally already in that process. This massive achievement today was made possible by so many of the folks in this room. The Chiefs organization, the Hunt family, thank you very much, Mr. Hunt, Mr. Donovan, the Kansas legislature, our diligent Commerce Department, Lieutenant Governor Tolan, and our governor. Today is the start of something truly special, something that goes far beyond all of us here in this room. This win is for Kansas families everywhere. Thank you to everyone for making today possible. I'm very proud of the role that the Kansas legislature played in getting this done. We all work together to scoop and score this win for Kansas.
All right, there it is. All the different folks, all the different luminaries, if you will, chiming in.
Chance for a victory lap to a degree.
A little victory lap. And
why
it
not,
is.
man?
It is.
They got it done. That's fantastic.
Yeah. It's official. The Kansas City Chiefs going. Talking about 2031 being open for business. 5 more years playing at Arrowhead Stadium, and then headed indoors to a dome stadium.
Now that it's a realization, I think about it more often. I keep thinking, my mind keeps drawing my eyes to that area and what it's going to look like over the next 5 years. How we see the excavation, and then we'll see the framework, and then as that amazing stadium, and I'm sure it will be because they'll have the best people in the world on it, as it takes shape and then finally opens. And it's the first time in my life I've been able to see that. You know, the T-Mobile Center is nice, but it's not an NFL stadium. It isn't a baseball stadium. They broke ground.
It was a great accomplishment. I don't think we need to minimize what was accomplished there.
Well, I'm not trying, but it's a different magnitude to watch an NFL, a domed NFL stadium.
It's just a physically bigger structure.
They broke ground on Arrowhead on my second birthday, July 11th, 1968. It opened 6 years later. I don't remember anything about that. I'm going to get to watch this one come up, and the training complex. The more I think about it, the more excited I get about what the next 5 years, just building up to that when that thing's finally open. That first game in that new stadium is going to be incredible.
I always enjoy, getting to cover things I call My Watch on Sports, whatever our role is to try to, enhance your sports experience. And, I think this has been it's one of the reasons why we put a lot of time into it. Most of it you didn't see on the air. We didn't come in here every day and here's a little bit of nothing.
Yeah.
But we spent a lot of time without a lot of on-air product from it. I'll be honest with you. I've never spent more hours per on-air product on something than I have on this.
Yeah.
Right? But it was worth it. This is a historic day. I mean, and again, I don't want to I'm not breezing by the fact that I know a lot of people in Missouri are disappointed. Like I said, somebody said, I don't know why you're talking about, everybody should get on board with it. I'm not telling you should get on board. I mean, you're going to do what you're going to do. I think you should.
But it's going there.
I think you should acknowledge and be aware. I mean, maybe the term is get on board. Like you wanted the Chiefs in this area, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people in Missouri would rather have the Royals in Nashville than in Kansas. Maybe people in Missouri would rather have the Chiefs in Texas than here. So you're going to San Antonio. Insert city here, whatever city you want. Right, I know there were some rumblings a few years ago about San Antonio being interested, returning the Chiefs to Dallas. Remember that came out right after the vote failed. Like there was all that. There was never any legs to it, but eventually there would be if a solution wasn't reached.
Yeah.
And so this is great for the region and for keeping the teams here in Kansas City. And if you're a Kansas City sports fan, this does mean that you're not losing them. And if you want to be frustrated about anybody, be frustrated at the state of Missouri. The city of Kansas City, Missouri, Jackson County. And even that, I mean, I think to a degree, there's a limit to what any city can handle and what they're willing to pay, and they do not have a star bond economic engine. Listen, I'm really interested in talking to Sam McDowell tomorrow. Sam has said all along he thought, they were going to stay in Jackson County and talked about who's going to buy the bonds. Well, we're going to find out. He's raised the question, can you really sell billions and billions of dollars in bonds? We're going to find out. They think so. The Chiefs think so.
Yeah.
They're bought in. They're going for it. So we're gonna find out.
And for the rest of my life, I'm almost certain, and for the rest of the lives of many people who are listening, and 10, 20, however long it's going to be, I know that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be as fiscally viable a football team as they can possibly be. They will have the best facility, the most revenue-creating facility. They'll be as well-positioned to win more championships as it could possibly be. I thought it was interesting. It was just maybe a style point, but Clark Hunt noted that they've played in 3 different stadiums, and all 3 of them they've brought a championship home to that stadium. In Dallas, the Municipal, and at Arrowhead. So they're 3 for 3.
Yeah.
I think this makes there's a very good chance they'll be 4 for 4.
Yeah, I think, Patrick Mahomes will be, what, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. He'll be 36 when the stadium opens.
Yeah, so it may not be him.
Could be him. Could be him. If he's going to play till he's 45, But it could be him.
But they'll be set up.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's an amazing day. It's a historic day. And you can hear the excitement out of the people in Kansas and all the work that was done by all the people over there. So, but I reiterate, I think the most important thing is that the Kansas City Chiefs are staying in Kansas City. And I've told you all along I don't think there's any shot that they were leaving, and I think they played it very well by stating immediately after the vote they were going to listen. What do you got? We gave it the first shot. What do you got? And we go from there. 913-810-810. We can talk about the press conference. We're going to have Todd Lebo. He's going to try to get some one-on-ones with some folks. Right now, they're disbanding from up there. We did walk away from a couple of the last speakers, including the the mayor of the Kansas City, Kansas Unified Government. But Todd Lebo will be speaking with some folks, and he'll be joining us throughout the rest of the show. Right now, we'll take your phone calls at 913-381-810. You're in the program. All right, listen up. This Tiximus Tickets for Less is rewarding fans for buying the tickets they already want with Fan Cash now through December 24th. Tick, 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 tick. That clock is ticking. You can earn $10 in Fan Cash for every $100 you spend, up to $100 back towards January events. In other words, you spend $200, you got $20 that you can use on buying tickets to an event in January. It's a great time to buy early for Royals games, concerts at the new Morton Amphitheater, or big events like Country Stampede. Buy a whole bunch of Royals tickets right now. You get $100 to save, then buy whatever other events you want in January. Like events, live events are great ways to make unforgettable memories. They make great gifts, right? Everybody loves to go to a game. Everybody's going to love to be at opening day. Everybody's going to love to be at a ball game, right? Go to a concert. Now they come with built-in savings. Plus, if you use promo code 810, that still works to save you right now at checkout. That's right. Use promo code 810. Earn today, save later, and shop at ticketsforless.com.
All right, our end of the hour answer. Who was the last? Let me try this again. Who was the Chiefs starting quarterback the last time they were a 12.5-point dog at home?
Matt Castle.
Nope.
Tyler Palco.
No.
Thigpen.
No.
Croyle.
Nope.
Orton.
Nope.
I don't know.
Mike Livingston.
Really?
The date?
We'll live in infamy.
October 10th, 1977. They played at home to Baltimore, were 12.5-point dogs. It was the second time in 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, after they had been at least 12.5-point dog at home. They were a 13-point dog to the Raiders on October 3rd of 70. That was the 2-12 team that was the worst team in football. They were also a 12.5-point dog to Pittsburgh on November 7th of 76 and lost that game 45.
So you're saying this is going to go really well?
Yeah, the only other 12-point dog they were was an 87 against the Broncos, 26-17. That may have been a strike game.
Yeah.
Game 5, yeah, that was a strike game.
913-810-810. How you put a spread on that? I'm not sure.
Well, it's been since 2012. They were even a double-digit dog at home. That was against Denver also.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't think in the Andy Reid era.
Yep.
Those days would have been over, I would have thought. Let's go to the phones. Gary, you're in the program. What's going on, Gary?
Hey, Soren, I hope you can tell me that I'm wrong. One of the announcements from the pulpit, I can't remember if it was the governor or the lieutenant governor of the great state of Kansas, announced that this project would result in the creation of 20,000 jobs and additional revenues of $4 billion. Now, am I wrong, or is that money that Missouri, the great state of Missouri, is losing?
Well,
and
there's definitely an element of that, yeah, for sure. I mean, people staying in hotels. But, I mean, I don't think Missouri will lose all of its revenue because I think there'll be people who come to town for a Chiefs game and want to stay downtown. They want to be around those. But yes, I mean, I think there's no doubt Kansas is going to be – they're going to be taking away the income tax of all the players that are now playing in Kansas as opposed to Missouri. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you the other thing that I think on the Missouri side people need to get ready for and why there maybe should have been more of an emphasis on not losing these teams, or maybe there should be more of an emphasis on not losing the Royals, is who's tearing down the old stadiums?
Oh, that's good. We can tear down things that are important. And
except for that costs tens of millions of dollars because there are all kinds of codes, and it's not just take a wreck or to it and truck it off, which, by the way, trucking all that off takes a while and will take a lot of trucks, and the tonnage is unbelievable. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars that are going to have to be paid for to tear that down. So
okay, wait, let me have one other comment, and I'll get off the air and listen, because, of course, I feel a lot better now that I know that we're going to tear down one of the landmarks of our state and haul it off in trucks. But here's the other part.
Well, I don't know what they're going to do.
No.
That would seem like the likely scenario.
Let me do this other thing, because you're going to want to comment on that too, and I'll get off as soon as I say it. The big winner here is the Hunt family, because I've looked at the values of these various National Football League franchises, and I believe the value of the Kansas City Chiefs franchise probably increased by about $1 billion today. I'm just choosing that figure, but let's go with this. Not only are they going to get to rent the stadium and the facility for concerts, Final Fours, Super Bowls, etc., but they are also going to get a portion of the proceeds from selling the land around it to create this entertainment complex. So
well, they'll own the land. They'll be the landlord on the entertainment complex.
So the winner here is, it's all about the Benjamins, isn't it? Always.
But when is it not? Like, I don't understand. Like, what is out there? Like, do you know how much tax money was given to the Panasonic people to build that giant battery, facility that's out there? Like, do you it becomes a big deal when this comes out, but there isn't any major building, any major business that's wooed to an area that they aren't given all kinds of things. Like, you can bitch and moan, or you can get in the game and let's go. Like, Lockton is leaving. Here, I'm going to let you go, Gary, because I am going to comment to what you said. Like that, Lockton is leaving the Plaza. Now, maybe they've outgrown even where they're talking about going, but they're moving to Leawood. You want to know why? Because Leawood is giving them money. Now, why do you think they're giving them money? Well, we're going to lose all these jobs. Well, they're giving them money because they feel that having but eventually when the tax credits and all the things, I'd have to go back and read the story about what all they were using to woo Lockton to move to Leawood. But the idea is that we bring businesses there and then they go to our restaurants and they go to our grocery stores, or they have meetings and they have to fly people in town and they stay at our hotels. That is the idea. That is the game. That is how it works. These things go on when it comes to wooing Lockton to move from Missouri to Kansas. This is not unique to building stadiums. It just gets a lot more pub, right?
Yeah, because not everyone uses Lockton. Everyone watches the Chiefs or Royals.
Right. I mean, like, if you don't understand that you are a serf, that we are not that far removed from lords and princes and princesses and serfs. I'm a blanking serf.
Credit to you for using that word. I love
that
it.
is what I am. You know who the money people are? They're the landowners. It's the same thing that you sat in class and learned about. They had the money. They've always had the money. They're always going to have the money. And if you think yes. Just like occasionally you can find a left tackle in the 4th round. But if you think that's the plan, that's the standard, that's the norm, you're an idiot. Likewise, if you think you're going to come up with the fanciest widget or the greatest idea that's going to make you a billionaire, you're an idiot. Okay? The rich people had the money. They're always going to have the money. You know who had the money before Clark Hunt had the money? Lamar Hunt had the money. You know who had the money before Lamar Hunt had the money? I don't even know. His dad, the Hunt family. They were the richest family in America. That's how it is.
H.L. Hunt.
You sit around like that. That's what it's always been.
Yeah.
So I like stop listening to people blow smoke up your ass and just understand that this is it. This is how it works. Do you want the football in this town or not? Because there's no scenario that has the football staying and the Hunts losing money. That's not how it works. Let me give you another one. There's no scenario that has the Royals playing baseball in this town and the Shermans losing money. It doesn't work that way. All right, listen up. NBA action means we've got a reason to get on the Underdog app every single night. Me and my buddies love it. Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, block parties. They're all back. Dunks. You can make entries and win money right now in Missouri. It's super easy on Underdog. Choose whether your favorite player will go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. Get your entries right. You can win up to 5,000 times your cash. What do you got tonight? Zion's playing. Listen, let me tell you something. I'm going lower on Zion points, I think, every game he plays because I know he's only going to play about 9 of them. So there's a pretty good chance he'll get hurt somewhere in the first or second quarter, and then he goes lower on the points. Seems like a pretty logical approach to me. I also like Cooper Flagg's playing at a really high level. He went for 40 the other night. I'm looking at his rebounds and assists, higher than 9.5 rebounds and assists. It's just that easy. Pick your player, pick your stat, go higher or lower. But first, you got to download the app. Do it today if you haven't done it. Promo code SOREN, S-O-R-E-N. My first name is going to score you $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Again, that's promo code SOREN, S-O-R-E-N. It's all at Underdog, where you make plays and win money.
In prison in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Pain has a way of stealing the moments that matter most, especially during the holidays. It's not just your knees, back, or shoulder. It's time with family and friends. But in 2026, that could all change when your body remembers how to heal. It just needs a little help finding the way back. QC Kinetics believes relief doesn't have to come from surgery or pain pills. They use your body's own natural healing abilities to repair and restore what's been lost, helping you move, live, and feel like yourself again. It's your body's comeback story, powered by the very cells that built you in the first place. No surgery, no pain pills, no long recovery. Make the new year your turning point, where pain stops defining you. It's time to take that first step, literally, to walk, hike, dance, enjoy the holidays, live without wincing with QC Kinetics Athletics, healing is within reach. Schedule your free consultation today. Now's a great time to use your HSA and FSA for treatments. Call 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics.
Kansas City, he's back. Rashee Rice has returned to the field, and he's bringing KC barbecue with him. Swing by Blind Box Barbecue and try Rashee's two signature dishes, the sweet chili kickoff and the heavyweight plate. Packed with bold flavor, they're the perfect way to celebrate every game day. Blind Box Barbecue in Shawnee at the corner of Shawnee Mission Parkway and Flum. Online at blindboxbbq.com. Eat like a champion only at Blind Box Barbecue.
My dad was killed by a drunk driver on Thanksgiving. Supposed to go over and I made him a cherry cheesecake.
My father and I were hit by a drunk driver and he was killed. We were driving home from Christmas shopping.
Driving impaired can forever change the holidays.
Just 2 days ago, I caught myself trying to call him.
Christmas is definitely not the same because you know that he's not going to be there.
Always drive sober. A message from the Kansas Department of Transportation and all the victims of impaired driving crashes.
The Fed just cut interest rates again, and that means now is the time to refinance with Golden Oak Lending. Lower rates mean lower payments, and our customers are saving hundreds every month. Plus, you can make no payments until next year. And if your loan doesn't close, we'll pay for your appraisal. Call 913-890-GOLD today and start saving.
Golden Oak Lending, join my blues.
NMLS number 114937.
I know that hiring can be challenging.
Minute drill coming up at 4 o'clock. Petro, Siebold, the Drake, Jason Justice running the operation today. Let's get to the phones. Up next, we've got Dwayne. You're in the program, Dwayne. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, how you doing, Soren?
Good, man. What's on your mind?
I had a question, and first I want to say something. I'm not real upset about the Chiefs moving to a brand new stadium. And to me, it's like they're just moving down the road. But I'm more crushed at the thought of losing the Royals. And I was wondering, what exactly is the problem with the Royals? Are they wanting a brand new stadium or something like that? I don't understand it.
Yes, the Royals want a new stadium. They want what all sports teams want now, and that is not just the stadium, but to control the land around it, to own the land around it, to be able to put other businesses, whether that's just office buildings, to be able to make money off the rent of those buildings, commercial, whether it's restaurants, bars, entertainment area. They want all of that to be able to generate more revenue. That is what teams are doing. Like, think of Wrigleyville. The Cubs own all the land around, they own all those Wrigley rooftops, and they own all the bars and everything along there. And so all that money is extra revenue they have that then theoretically, and I think John Sherman, I think we can take him at his word, has said would be more revenue that they can put into the ball club to make it more competitive.
Okay, just one last quick thing.
Yeah.
I have so much nostalgia and memories from the K because, you know, Buck Night at the K and Buck
Sure.
O'Neill's seat and Bo Jackson throwing out that guy from at home from left field and you know, just things like that. And then anyway,
well,
that was my memory.
Yeah,
And I just wanted
you know
to
what,
share them.
and Dwayne, and I bet you got many more. If we sat there over a couple of Coronas, I guarantee you could lay a few more on me. Danny Tartable, 3 home run game, opening day. George Bell, unfortunately, 3 home run game. I think we've all got a lot of memories like that. The hope is that this gives them more revenue, they stay more competitive, and we make a lot of new memories in a new ballpark.
All right, who do the Chiefs play in their first game ever at Arrowhead Stadium? Brought to you by Nick and Jake's.
Second half of the program begins right now as we head around the country 2 minutes at a time, talking to the people, covering the stories where they're happening. We call it the 2-minute drill. It's brought to you by our friends at Jocelyn's Jewelry. Gary and his staff, awesome last-minute gift. Maybe you've really done a bad job and you need to buy a lot of gifts. No, you don't. You just need to buy jewelry. If you really want to save the day, come on. Get over to the southeast corner of 95th and Antioch. Gary Jocelyn and his great staff are there, ready for you. All kinds of beautiful jewelry. The best jewelry at the best prices. You'll find all kinds of great gifts at multiple price points, no matter what you're looking for, whether it's tennis bracelets, maybe it's an engagement ring, maybe it's diamond stud earrings. Get to Jocelyn's Jewelry today. You can find them online at joslinsjewelry.com. Kansas City's best. Voted the #1 jewelry store in Kansas City for a reason. All right, let's get things going here on the drill. We are going to begin in Seattle, Washington. That's where our buddy, Softy Mahler, KJR in Seattle, is. Softy, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. Two things. You call this the 2-minute drill, although I don't think I've ever been on just for 2 minutes, ever. In the thousands of times I've done the 2-minute drill. And then for all you guys out there looking for a last-second Christmas gift for your sweetheart, Jocelyn's Jewelry, 95th and Antioch. Don't be an idiot, all right? Whatever your jewelry needs are, Jocelyn's can take care of you.
That's right.
Jocelyn's Jewelry this holiday season.
Thank you. First you saved yourself, because first you crap on me for my inability to time anything, but then you save yourself by one of our great sponsors. Gary's been with us for like 20 plus years, so good idea.
I love it.
Smart to be with on Gary Jocelyn's side. Let's start with the Seahawks. Come on, what the hell? The 17th team in NFL history were the Rams to have at least 580 yards of offense and be +3 on turnovers. Yeah. And lose. How did this happen?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out, man. I cannot believe what I just saw on Thursday night. I mean, the only game that comes close for me as far as improbability is the 2014 NFC Championship against the Packers, when the Seahawks, with 3 minutes to go, were down 19-7, and they found a way to win that game. I mean, this was along the same lines, man. They just decided after that second interception that Darnold threw, down 30-14 with about 9 minutes and change left to go, that enough was enough, and they just picked it up. They got a punt return by Rashid Shaheed, who's been an incredible deadline acquisition for the second time in the last 2 years. John Schneider has made a great deal at the deadline. He got Ernest here, and it paid big-time dividends. And the defense that had been getting pushed around all day long decided to start playing some defense on Matt Stafford. And, I mean, Soren, not just the fact that the Seahawks won that game when they're down by 16, but, I mean, dude, Matt Stafford had the ball with a minute left to go at the 50-yard line. And they went 3 and out at that point on and could not move the ball. So this wasn't just Sam Darnold. This wasn't just special teams. This was the defense stepping up and shutting the Rams down in the final 6 minutes of that game as well, man. So, Unbelievable game, a game that, I don't know if you guys believe in destiny or karma or whatever, stuff like that. But after winning the Colt game a week ago and not having scored a touchdown in that game and winning against the Colts, and then coming back against the Rams last week, it just kind of feels like there's kind of bigger, better things waiting for this football team, man. I don't know. I'm starting to believe.
Yeah, by the way, you mentioned that, but, playing good defense in the last 6 minutes. But again, giving up 580, being -3 on the turnovers. 0-16 were teams that had done that, losing by an average score of 56-14. That's how improbable this win was for the Seattle Seahawks. So what does it mean? Are they the NFC's best?
I think they are right now. I mean, that could change tomorrow. It feels like there's been a different flavor of the month, almost every single month in the NFC, right? The Packers at one point were up there. The Rams at one point were up there. Philadelphia at one point was up there. We've been up there. I just kind of feel like the Hawks might be the most complete team in the NFC right now. They might be the most battle-tested team in the NFL, or at least the NFC. I mean, there's 3 teams in the NFC that have 10 wins or more. There's no other division that's got more than 1. I mean, Soren, the Niners and the Chiefs, and the Seahawks and Rams are playing 750 ball combined. They're 33-11 in 44 games. So it's just unbelievable how good this division is. But when you throw in Rashid Shaheed on special teams and the way they've been kicking the ball with Jason Myers, man, the guy can't miss from anywhere. The last time he missed a field goal was a 61-yard attempt to beat the Rams in L.A. 5 weeks ago. Ever since then, he's been freaking money for this football team. So I think they might be the team to beat in the NFC right now, especially if they do get the number 1 seed. And they've had, by the way, they've had the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs 3 times in their history, and they've gone to the Super Bowl every single time.
Yeah, they look like hell on wheels. They got to keep it rolling here moving forward. Sitting there at 12-3. You know, I think everybody thought that they were going to be pretty good. I don't think anybody thought that they would be this good. Now they've still got to handle at Carolina and at San Francisco to wrap it all up. Softy, great stuff as always, buddy. We appreciate it. Have yourself a fantastic week, my friend.
All right, guys, don't forget, for your last-second jewelry needs, it's Jocelyn's Jeweler on the corner of 95th and Antioch in Kansas City.
It's raining in Baltimore.
Smart ass. That's what he is, Softy. He's a smart ass, but not Glenn Clark. He's a fine, upstanding individual from Baltimore, Maryland. Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn, how are you, sir?
I am a fine, upstanding smartass.
Yeah.
And happy holidays to you, my friend.
Yeah, same to you, my friend. And look, it looks like the Baltimore Ravens are going to join us. Chiefs fans, Ravens fans are going to join us in watching our teams not play in the playoffs. I guess watching other teams play in the playoffs. What chance do you give the Ravens now after falling to the New England Patriots?
Less than one. I don't know that any of these scenarios are going to play out for them. This is a pretty historic fumbling of the bag for the Chiefs to fall by the wayside this season, and for you to be completely ill-prepared to take advantage of it. This is one of the all-timers for the Ravens as far as disappointing failures of a season go. Could they go into Green Bay? I mean, we don't know who the Packers are going to be playing at quarterback. Maybe Lamar Jackson is going to play on Saturday. He has a back contusion that knocked him out, but I don't know. Could they go in? I guess. Look, this is the NFL. Goofy things happen all the time, but nothing about what the Ravens have been doing suggests that they are prepared to go in and beat a football team that's trying, and I have no world where I think the Browns are beating the Steelers on Sunday, so I think one way or the other the season's coming to an end this week.
Listen, as we watch the Chiefs play the Titans and look completely inept, like absolutely a turtle flipped over on its back without Patrick Mahomes, we know that Lamar Jackson started the game, didn't finish it. We know he's been playing hurt much of the year as well. Is this similarly to the Chiefs without Mahomes? Is this just a reality of exactly how important a healthy Lamar Jackson is to this team?
Right, so I mean, there's no doubt that that's the biggest part of the story, but it's tough because it still doesn't excuse what happens. Like, it still doesn't excuse that they were up by 2 scores in the fourth quarter without Lamar Jackson, and their defense can't get a stop, and they for some reason decided that Derrick Henry doesn't exist, and you know, John Harbaugh says afterwards, you know, in hindsight, I would have liked to have had him out there. Well, you're the head coach. Like, you're the one that can say, hey, there's 8 minutes left in the game. We're up by a score. We would do really well to go put a drive together, give the ball to Derrick Henry, and for some reason he's not out there. And it's just sort of inexcusable stuff. Like, yes, you're right. There's no doubt the biggest part of the story is Lamar Jackson and his health, and he hasn't been the same guy even when he's been playing since returning from the hamstring injury. There is no doubt that's A1 in storylines. But they still had opportunities to win football games that they just found incredible new ways to give them away. And it might very well end up being the end of the line for John Harbaugh because of it.
We're looking at a $35 million cap deficit already for next year here in Kansas City. So we're talking about some change that you maybe would like, but maybe can't come, that maybe it's a 2-year run to try to get this cap squared away a little bit better. What's the view moving forward once the Ravens are eliminated?
I mean, they do have caps. I mean, the first thing is they have to, like, this is the problem. You can't even get a sense of what Steve Bisciotti, the owner of the Ravens, is thinking. He is completely silent. Like, on the record, off the record, the man doesn't even want his face shown on television. So it's really difficult to get a sense of where he is. He has to confirm whether or not John Harbaugh is going to be back. That's where this starts. And I'm very like they don't like making bold moves. This is the Ravens. They've had 3 head coaches in the history of their franchise. They have modeled the way they do business after the Steelers, and the Steelers don't change head coaches. So we still have to address that first. But then after that, they have like a healthy Lamar Jackson next season. They've got to fix his cap hit because he's set to be a $75 million cap hit. But that will happen. They'll get that done. As frustrating as negotiations have been, they'll get that done. I presume they'll keep Derrick Henry. Then they've got to figure out where they're going to get a pass rush from, because this organization has failed time and time again since Terrell Suggs to find an edge rusher. They've got to extend their set. They got work to do. They have some cap space. They can get more by getting the Lamar Jackson thing done. That's the biggest thing that's in front of them as far as the cap is concerned.
All right, how about the Orioles? They had another arm and Shane Baz. Like, what do we think of the offseason? Is it enough to get up there and compete in the AL East?
I mean, it's a hell of a price to pay for Shane Baz. I mean, they need to be right about him. They need to know, and everybody talks about how he's got one of the best curveballs in baseball, and his velo's 96 to 99, and yes, his numbers were much worse at Steinbrenner Field than they were anywhere else last year. They better be right, because they paid a real price for him instead of just spending the money to go get a Framber Valdez. And I think that was the encouraging part about spending on Pete Alonso was, okay, maybe they weren't playing around. Maybe they really are willing to spend. This is a bold trade to make of 4 legitimate prospects to get a pitcher who pitched to a 4.5 ERA a season ago. So they better be right about the peripherals on Shane Baz. And a lot of people will tell you they can be, because that now becomes really a make-or-break type of move. I still think they're going to add one more pitcher. The Pete Alonso thing seems like a no-brainer. He's exactly what this offense has needed, a real thumper in the middle of the order. They didn't replace Anthony Santander. This is better than that. So that's a good thing. They still don't really have a center fielder. They probably could use one more bullpen arm, and they need Ryan Helsley to be the version of Ryan Helsley that we saw before he ended up with the Mets last year. So they still are counting on some things going right. They absolutely still have to get one qualified top-ish of the rotation starter. The good news is there are still some of those out on the market.
Yeah, and we'll see if they're able to get it done. We'll see how long the Ravens can hang on. It's an amazing. I'm with you. Like, here the Chiefs are finally out of the way, and you're not even going to get in there.
I think we're all hanging out in Cancun together, Saran. I don't know if you got a place that we can start getting that all-inclusive deal working out, but I think we're all headed there here in a little bit.
I think we need to. Glenn, great stuff, buddy. We appreciate it. Happy holidays to you, my friend.
The same to you, my man. Thank you.
Then I'm up in Chi-Town.
Judson Richards is next, 670 The Score in Chicago, Illinois. Judson, how are you, my friend?
Soren, what world are we living in where John Harbaugh potentially getting fired, the Chiefs will not make the playoffs, and the Chicago Bears are chasing the number 1 seed in the NFC? Like, what world is this?
With a quarterback that the city seems to now love, right? Like, what is this world?
Right? I mean, you're the one who voted for him for a Heisman Trophy, right?
I did.
Yeah, so you saw this coming, right?
Sure. Listen, that's the question is, like, I know they're playing great football overall. Clearly, Ben Johnson looks like a home run hire right now, the way they're playing. He's absolutely made Caleb Williams better. The biggest statistic that I can look at is, I think he was sacked 69 times last year, and he's at like 23 or 4 now.
Yep.
The sack avoidance, those negative plays have really gone away. More touchdowns this year than last. You expect growth in year number 2, but what is the feeling that the Bears fans think they have? Do they think they have the franchise quarterback, or are they just like, okay, he doesn't suck, but let's see if he's, the guy that can go win games in the playoffs?
No, I think, it's hard for me to speak for all of Chicago. I think that fans were feeling more and more optimistic, right? Because, if you watched him play in college, he can do the spectacular. But there's a little bit of like, can you do the game management stuff and be accurate, and then do the spectacular when you need to, right? He said it, like put on the Superman cape when you're supposed to. The best part about that Saturday night win, and he's the first Bears quarterback ever to throw a touchdown in the last 30 seconds and then throw a touchdown to win it in overtime, right? Like he is doing things that statistically and just with your eyes you've never seen a Bears quarterback do before. But both of those plays, the one to tie it and then the one to win it, were within the system. They were what the play was designed to do, and then he's just a natural passer and was able to have the touch to do what Ben Johnson asked him to do. So that's that's the marriage that you've been looking for. Can you do the spectacular combined with playing in rhythm, in time, within the system? He's getting better at it. His completion percentage is terrible, but he's had a lot of drops, and as you said, Soren, one of the ways you avoid sacks is you throw the ball out of bounds. He has an incredible amount of balls he has simply thrown out of bounds. That counts as a pass, and that's going to hurt your completion percentage. But he doesn't throw interceptions. He's the first player ever to throw the fewest amount of interceptions after 1,000 passes, right? He threw 12 interceptions after his first 1,000 passes. No one had ever had fewer interceptions than that. So if you go within the numbers, you can see why that completion percentage is so low, because he doesn't go backwards. He doesn't turn a bad play into a terrible play. It's why they can win so many one-score games. Yes, he needs to improve, but I think where they're at as of now, absolutely, you should feel like the Bears have their franchise quarterback.
Yeah, no, it looks pretty good. By the way, did DJ Moore go from GOAT to hero like overnight? He gets a penalty for not being set because he's so tired coming back, but then he found the energy to burst downfield and catch the deep throw for the touchdown. Like, was he, the GOAT to hero? Anybody done that faster than he did?
He's looked it. Like probably over Thanksgiving, those 50-some-year-olds after running around outside playing pickup football, like how bad your body hurts. He looks like every single play he's been hurt this season. He's a smaller-bodied guy. I think he is working through a lot of stuff. But the problem is he's been or is the highest-paid offensive player on the Bears, and oftentimes his targets are very, very low, and his numbers have not been big. But we know how great DJ Moore can be. I've always been a big fan. So, there's been a little bit of why hasn't he been used more, I think more so than frustration. But he can do something spectacular at any given moment. A lot of times it's just with his yards after catch because he can be slippery. Rome Odunze for so long was the number one target. But, it does not surprise me that he got that moment if the ball was going to be thrown to him. But, it really is his first major moment in a Bears uniform. But he's got the skill set as long as he's healthy and not out of breath, as that game was kind of beating everybody up.
Yeah. All right, let's go then with a final piece. The Chicago White Sox getting what some people thought was a top 5 free agent in Murakami, third baseman, first baseman, coming over from Japan. I saw some estimates having him get well over $100 million. He ends up signing 2 for $34 million. Nobody had him going to the White Sox. He was going to go to the Dodgers or the Mets or one of the big market clubs on one of the coasts. Like, how did this happen? And is there a little bit of what's wrong with the guy when the White Sox are able to get him?
Yes. Yeah, the answer is yes. And, Soren, it's funny you say $100 million or more. If that would have happened, it definitely would have been to the White Sox because Jerry Reinsdorf has never given a free agent $100 or more, $100 million or more. He'd prefer to just pay $100. So, yeah, I mean, if you were going to be shocked by how much he was paid, then there's a much better chance that he'd end up in a White Sox uniform. Those concerns, I mean, he's pretty spectacular. I mean, depending on what you think of Japanese baseball, I think we should probably think pretty highly of it with Shohei Ohtani. And, well, really a good part of that Dodgers roster. And we watch it here with Seiya Suzuki and what he's done in a Cubs uniform. But, two-time MVP, those concerns that you talk about, because he had 56 home runs in 2022, and then obviously he was pitched differently, and his strikeouts and his swing and miss rates have gone way up, and difficulty with a high fastball with which in the bigs, and we're watching it a little bit with Pete Crow Armstrong, like if you can't do that, you can be in real trouble, including lay off it. So I think those are the things that allowed him to become a White Sox. The question is, he obviously wanted to be a major part of a lineup because of the White Sox have lost 100 games for 3 consecutive years. So he is the guy, right? He didn't want to go be with the Dodgers or be forgettable or down in the lineup. I think that's part of it, is he wanted to go somewhere where he could ultimately be counted on to be the middle-of-the-order guy, just like he was in Japan. And, he must have had a good conversation with the White Sox because I think like that was when it was like, negative teens wind chill when he arrived here that day. So he got very much of a welcome to Chicago moment, which will get him set for some April baseball on the South Side.
Yeah, good times, good times. Justin Richards in Chicago. Great stuff, buddy. Happy holidays. We'll talk to you down the road.
Thank you, Saran. Thanks, buddy. Happy holidays.
To the arms of Florida.
And Ryan Green, 1010XL in Jacksonville, Florida. Ryan, how are you, sir?
Saran, I'm good, buddy. How you doing?
Doing great. What the hell is going on with these Jacksonville Jaguars? Come on, they're just supposed to be this little engine that could, just a quiet little sleepy, bad winner of a bad division. Instead, they're coming in and kicking the Broncos' ass. Like, did we see? Maybe not. I'm sure Jacksonville Jaguar fans could see a win, but the way they did it, did anybody see that coming?
Saran, they're just a small market team. We were just lucky enough to go into a big atmosphere like Mile High and get it done. That's what Liam Cohen's message after the game was, thanks to Sean Payton making that small market comment last week. The Jaguars are good, Saran. I know I've talked to you about this in the past. I know people don't take notice of Jacksonville. Some people wish Jacksonville wasn't even in the National Football League, or when are they moving to London, tarps on the stadium, same stuff year after year after year. But in the worst times, the Jaguars accumulated a lot of talent, from Trevor Lawrence to Travis Etienne to Trayvon Walker to Joshua Hines-Allen. I mean, when you're drafting at the top of the draft year after year after year, eventually you're going to accumulate talent. The problem was they just had horrific coaching hires, coordinator hires, and GM hires. And finally, owner Shad Khan deviated from what he normally does and went out and got two young minds, in GM James Gladstone and head coach Liam Cohen. He paired those guys with a Jaguar legend and Tony Baselli, and those four men, Khan, Baselli, Cohen, and Gladstone, have completely turned around this franchise. It's the first time they've won 11 or more games dating back to 2007, and Trevor Lawrence is now playing the best football of his NFL career.
Can they keep it going and get to the 2 seed? I mean, theoretically, they can get to the 1, although I don't think the Patriots are going to drop games, at the Jets and home to the Dolphins. So I think they're going to have a hard time getting there. But if you can get to the 2 seed, you avoid the Buffalo Bills. We don't know if they're going to be the 5, the 6, but they're not going to be the 7. And to me, that's the spot you want to get to. That would put them probably headed into a game against the Texans. Can they go 2-0? And then win a tiebreaker head-to-head with the Denver Broncos and maybe end up being that 2 seed? And how important is it for him to get that 2 seed in your mind?
Yeah, I think it's very important. I mean, that would give you 2 home games, in theory, in the playoffs. And in the AFC this year, with no Patrick Mahomes, probably no Lamar Jackson, no Joe Burrow, look, it's going to be wide open. It's going to be a crazy AFC playoff, no doubt about that. Jacksonville has 2 games left. At Indy, which is interesting because Indy obviously plays tonight, and how that will affect 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, we'll see. He's going to play on Monday night, and then he's got to turn right back around in basically 5.5 days and play Jacksonville Sunday at 1 o'clock, which will be interesting. And then they play Tennessee at home, and Tennessee is just not very good. So certainly the Jaguars, if they win their next 2, they have a chance to be the 2 seed. All it would take is one Denver loss, and Denver might be playing an AFC West championship game against the LA Chargers in Week 18 if the Chargers beat Houston on Saturday night. So there's still a lot to play out, but the bottom line is the Jaguars are on the verge of getting in the playoffs for only the second time dating back to 2017, and they're having one of the best seasons in franchise history right now.
Yeah, and the quarterback playing at a really high level. 12 touchdowns, no interceptions in his last 4 games. He's already at a career high 26 touchdowns, and he's still got 2 to go. Just to be clear, so people know that he was 14-11 before these last 4 games. What clicked? What changed with him over the last 4 games, and where he was able to take his game to a whole nother level?
Well, I think finally, the offense with Liam Cohen, he's obviously more comfortable with that. And then the Jacoby Myers trade. It was the best trade any team in the NFL made this year. I know a lot was made about Sauce Gardner going to Indy. A lot was made about Quinnen Williams going to Dallas. Without a shadow of a doubt, at the trade deadline, the best trade that was made was Jacoby Myers coming to Jacksonville. He has been a godsend, quite frankly, for the Jaguar offense. He has opened things up for Brian Thomas. He has opened things up for Brenton Strange and Parker Washington. They think so much of Jacoby Myers, 6-7 games into his NFL or into his Jaguar career, that they've already extended him, Saran. They gave him a 3-year extension last week after being here for 7 games. That's how much they love Jacoby Myers. So that was a huge part of it. The offensive line has gelled and is playing better, and things have just come together at the right time. And look, I know the narrative was, well, Jacksonville's beating up on bad teams. They beat up on the Titans and the Jets. Well, if you look at their body of work now, all of a sudden that win over Carolina doesn't look half bad. That win over a healthy Kansas City team on Monday Night Football. They beat the Chargers 35-6. The Chargers haven't lost a game since losing by 30 to Jacksonville. And then to go into Denver yesterday and beat the Broncos, and they beat the brakes off of them in the second half. Just a dominating effort. Outside of maybe Seattle and the Rams, I don't know if there's a team, certainly in the AFC, that's playing any better than the Jaguars are right now.
All right, how good are the Florida Gators? I mean, they've got 4 losses, but they're to Arizona, TCU, Duke, and UConn. I mean, Arizona's number 1 in the country now. Duke and UConn, they were 4-5 when they lost to them, but they don't really have the name brand win against anybody. What is this Florida team now that it's back into the bottoms of the rankings?
Yeah, and those 4 losses, I think, were by all or 6 points or less. They were in every one of those games, including losing at Cameron Indoor by 1 on a late 3 that Duke hit. Look, Florida won the national title last year. Their entire front court came back. They lost their entire back court. 2 of their guards from last year are in the NBA, and Walter Clayton and Will Richard. And the third, Elijah Martin, is doing wonders in the G League for the Toronto Raptor organization. So it's hard to replace 3 guards that are all playing pro basketball right now. They did do some things in the transfer portal. Some of those guys are beginning to play a little bit better. Florida, I think, will be fine. Are they going to repeat as national champions? Probably not, but how many teams do that? Not very many. I think this is a Gator team that realistically, if you get to the Sweet 16, it's probably a success, and we'll see what happens from that point forward.
Ryan Green in Jacksonville, Florida. Great stuff, buddy. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you on down the road.
Thanks, Soren. Take care, pal.
All right, listen up. Football's in full swing, and however you like to get in on the action, you can do it on Underdog. Right now in Missouri, this season, you can make team picks and player picks. Just download the app, sign up, and you'll get $75 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. Using Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite team will win or if your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Plus, with Underdog's ultra-fast payouts, you can get your profits in a snap. So download the app today. Use promo code SOREN, SOREN, to score $75 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. Player picks, team picks, it's all on Underdog.
Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Men, the holidays are here, and they are full of family time, long days, and plenty of stress. But
Todd Lebo's been in Topeka covering the big news today. The Kansas City Chiefs are moving to Kansas. 2031 is expected. Arrival of your Kansas City Chiefs in KCK, the practice facility going out in Olathe. Todd, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I just want to take this opportunity to remind people, Soren, that you told everybody on Thursday that I would be here today.
Yes.
In Topeka.
I did. Yes.
Anyway, and so congratulations. I think you guys, you in particular, and as us at Sports Radio 810, we've done a nice job of making sure. I know this has been a tedious subject for many people for 4 years, but we're halfway done with some of it. We still don't know all the royal stuff, but we're leaving Topeka right now. I know we played the announcement live on the air. I had a chance to talk to a couple of particulars afterwards, and we'll play a little bit of that now, beginning with Laura Kelly, the governor of the state of Kansas. And I asked her right at the beginning, when did she think this was actually real?
I'm not sure I think it's real yet. It really is surreal, as I said. But I had a pretty good feeling, a few weeks ago when I met with the Chiefs, and it became clear that this was just a good fit for them and for us, and glad we could make it a reality today. Glad the LCC, came together and did their work.
How much is the Hunt family committed to contribute to this project?
I can't give you the exact dollar, but I can tell you that it's quite substantial. And not only will they be contributing to the stadium itself, but they'll also be contributing to the community. So, and it won't be just a one-time thing. The fact that they'll be here means that on a day-in and day-out basis, that family will be contributing to not only KCK, Wyandotte County, Johnson County, and Olathe, but the entire state.
You mean the form of a community and benefits agreement of some sort?
All of the details of that are not worked out yet, but yes, they will continue to be good partners with the community.
And to add on to the governor's point, this is a 60-40 split on the total project.
Right. Lord, do you have an exact idea of where the stadium may be?
We know it's going to be in Wyandotte County. The exact spot is not determined yet.
Today's announcement's great for Kansas, obviously. Probably Quentin Lucas is feeling a little bit stinging today.
Governor, can you talk about what this means not only for KCK but Olathe? This is going to bring huge economic change for those areas.
Oh, well, yeah, they're going to get a state-of-the-art practice facility that will be unbelievable. Plus, they're going to have the headquarters of the Kansas City Chiefs right there in their own community. So, aside from just the excitement of all of that, the prestige of all of that, Olathe to be able to call themselves the home of the Kansas City Chiefs headquarters, that's pretty cool.
Do you know where that will be?
No, I really don't.
Where do things stand with the Royals at this point in the state of Kansas?
We're not even going to talk about Royals today. This is all about Chiefs.
Do you know when construction's supposed to start, either one of you?
It's about 18 months of design, and then construction is a 3-year period. The stadium will open in the fall of 2031.
But the design, that'll all start when?
Probably tomorrow.
Probably tomorrow. They got to get working on this. A couple of details in there, Soren. I think we know that Olathe, we've reported that that's going to be basically K10 and Ridgeview near Family Leisure. That's not official. As far as the exact site in Wyandotte County, it's going to be somewhere near the Speedway. We've talked for weeks about different little locations here and there. But I guess we'll get that final detail a little bit later. We did not get those exact specifics today.
Let me underscore also a 60-40 split. This was originally talked about a 70-30 split. It's 10% more to the Hunt family than was the original conversation when the Star Bonds came out. So I think that's of note right there. We should point that the Hunt family is on the hook for a bigger percentage than originally the Star Bond number was out there for. So I think that's significant as well. And I'm with you. I don't think they've dotted I's and crossed T's, but we know it's going to go. I think on the west side of the Speedway, I feel pretty good. It's just where. Is it right up next to it? Is it over a little bit? I think that's where it will go. So, yeah, I do believe we're headed towards that. All right, and then you had another chance to get close to somebody in the know.
Yeah, Clark Hunt, the Chiefs chairman, came by and chatted to us afterwards as well. And what I asked him was, we knew this was a family decision. It took them a long time to get there. I asked him kind of to explain how they finally got to where they are today.
Yeah, so it's been a long process. We've been working on finding the next stadium opportunity for the Chiefs now for several years. Kansas last year reached out to us and said, hey, there may be an opportunity here. Mark Donovan did a tremendous job of working with the leadership here while also working with the leadership in Missouri. At the end of the day, we made a decision as a family that this was the right opportunity and the best thing for the organization for several reasons. First of all, it's about the fans. My dad was always about the fans and thinking about the future. And this will give Chiefs Kingdom a state-of-the-art facility for multiple generations, a building that could last at least 50 or 60 years. Secondly, we believe it's the best thing for the region. It will give Kansas City the opportunity to bid on events that we can't host right now, like Super Bowls, college football playoffs, NCAA Final Fours. And then third, from a timeline standpoint, we really had gotten to a point where we needed to make a decision. It takes 5+ years to build a stadium, and our lease at Arrowhead runs for just over 5 years at this point. So we needed to go ahead and make a decision and get to work on it.
Where did Missouri come up short in their offer?
So we had a great dialogue with Missouri all the way through the end of last week. Just frankly, not everything was resolved that needed to be resolved. The big difference is we were working with one party here, the state of Kansas, and in Missouri we were working with the governor's office, the county, and also the city. And we just didn't get there from a timeline standpoint.
What do you say to the fans who are attached to Arrowhead that have this long-standing tradition? What do you say to those?
Yeah, so I think every Chiefs fan loves Arrowhead, and certainly I fall into that category. It is a special place. We all have a bunch of really great memories at Arrowhead, but this decision is really about the future. We're going to be investing in a stadium that can last for multiple generations of Chiefs fans, and that's, again, a big part of the reason why we made the decision.
What is the total investment in the project overall, in the practice facilities, the headquarters, and the stadium? What is that?
So the stadium we estimate will be approximately $3 billion. The practice facility will be approximately $300 million. And then we have committed to do a mixed-use district that will have at least $700 million invested, both in Olathe and Wyandotte County, and it could go up from there.
Clark, will personal seat licenses be part of this new stadium? What range would they be?
We haven't made a decision on that. We'll be looking at the overall financing here in the coming months in terms of how we put that together. Every new NFL stadium that's been built in the last 10 or 20 years has included personal seat licenses, but we've not made a decision yet.
It would be an upset if they weren't there, though, if it's not the way everyone's doing it?
We've just not made a decision.
PSLs.
Yeah.
3 dirty letters that we have not talked about much in Kansas City. Non-committal there, but I think it would be an upset if they weren't there.
Forget about upset. You're going to have PSLs. It's coming. I mean, he just said every other NFL stadium has had it. Let's take a break. Todd Lebo's been in Topeka covering the events. We'll hear from Mark Donovan. Next, Todd Lebo's conversation, part of the scrum over there in Topeka. All right, listen up. Underdog is ready for you. Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties, they're back. Do you love hoops? However you like to get in on the action when it comes to your basketball, you can do it on Underdog right now in Missouri. This season, you can make team picks and player picks. Just download the app, sign up, and you'll get $75 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. Using Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite team will win or if your favorite player will go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. Plus, with Underdog's quick payouts, you can get your profits fast. So download the app today and use the promo code SOREN, SOREN, to score $75 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. You heard me right. Download the app today. Use promo code SOREN. Score $75 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. Player picks, team picks, it's all on Underdog.
Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms_DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Hey. All right, we're talking to Todd Lebo here in the program. Soren Petro with you, Kurtis Seabolt. The Drake in for Kyle Collier. Todd's been in Topeka covering the announcement that the Kansas City Chiefs are moving to Kansas. Stadium going in KCK, the practice facility going to Olathe. Todd, you had a chance to talk to Mark Donovan, president of the Chiefs as well.
To work out here, and we'll have more time to work those out over the next 5 years. But today we're going to kind of hustle through this stuff because it's been kind of breaking today. There were plenty of bad puns on the podium there with football terms, so I might as well go ahead and add one to it. I asked Mark Donovan how they got this one over the goal line.
Yeah, I want to acknowledge many of you have been on this process with us, right? And it has been a long process. I want to thank everybody who's worked on it on all sides. The state of Missouri has been amazing. Governor Keogh has, created legislation that was unprecedented before. Working with the county has been an interesting experience, but they've been really, really supportive, and they showed their passion. They really would love to find a way to stay. Same with the city and Mayor Lucas. So let me start with that. It's been a long process. There have been a lot of ups and downs in the process. There have been so many days when I thought we were staying and so many days when I thought we were not staying. So to come to this conclusion is something that we've said publicly. Our job was to create two really good options. We had two great partners to create those options in both states. We presented them to the family. It was unanimous. And they're excited about the future. And I think Clark has probably hit on this, but they really reflected on their father. And a lot of those meetings were about what would Dad do? And they were unanimous that he would want to do this. He would want to increase and enhance the fans' experience, create more fan engagement. He would want to make sure that we remain the loudest stadium in the world, and we'll do that through our design. And he would want to make sure that we have the absolute best tailgating in the world. So it'll be as good, if not better, than what our people have experienced. We respect that, and we'll make that part of it.
Nearly all the new stadiums have a PSL element to it. Will PSLs be part of the funding for this?
We haven't made that final decision. As I mentioned, we were late in the process as to which way we would go. So we'll consider that. Every new stadium that we know of has PSLs. We did do polling about PSLs.
I'm guessing that came up. People don't want to pay PSLs.
Actually,
right?
It would surprise you. Just a general understanding of PSLs and what they are and why they're the way they are. And we'll get into it later, but there's a lot of value in owning a PSL in the sports world. There's a reason why these PSLs sell in all of these stadiums. So if you look at the newest stadiums that are out there, if you look at Buffalo, if you look at Tennessee, you look at teams like that, they've sold very, very well because there's true value in a PSL.
So there's some more PSL talk, Soren. I think you're right. They're going to be a part of this. And that will be an eye-opener for a lot of Chiefs fans. Now, he said they did some polling, and there's some value to them. Yeah, for sure. If you put if you're good, there's definitely some value to them. And if you have big events, there's some value to them. But we'll see how it goes on that. But it's momentous news today that the Chiefs are going to move to Kansas. It's going to be a long process to get it done. It's 5 years, right, to build this stadium, design the stadium. And there'll be hiccups on the way and all that. But this is, we've talked about this a bunch. This is a National Football League team, another one leaving the state of Missouri in the past 10 years, and then add the Cardinals before that, back in the late 80s. It's a watershed moment for sure.
Yeah, I think so. And, I think PSLs are definitely going to be a part of it. I think that's for sure. And I think now we'll wait for the Chiefs to put out their plans. I think they're further along than people may realize when it comes to what the stadium's going to look like. I know that was part of the equation of what was going on. So they're not just now going to be like, okay, give us your first rendering. Like, they've been looking at stadium designs and that kind of stuff. I think they wanted to get this done before the end of the year. I think they probably wanted to get it done before Christmas. Let's be blunt. And so I think there are probably sounds like still I's and T's to be dotted and crossed. But, the overall, listen, what's the point? Let's go. Let's put it out there. And they decided that it was time to go. So it's going to be a dome stadium. I've heard that it's going to have a retractable field, which would make it even easier for multi-purpose use. I think the 60-40 split is significant. That's 10% less that the state is on the hook for 10% more that the Hunt family is on the hook for. That's a pretty good split when you're in a small market, I got to be honest with you. So the PSLs are going to be a part of that equation, yes, but it is something you can resell. That's the part that I think when people get into it,
yes,
it is an asset. It is something you own. So, but
And here's the long and short of it, Soren. It's a new stadium, and if they end up getting a Super Bowl in Kansas City or a college football playoff, you heard Clark Hunt mention that, it's a college football playoff final or a Final Four or two, then it becomes a home run, right?
Yeah.
It's things that we haven't had here.
Yeah.
And it's a difference, it's a change, but, I do believe this. When Clark Hunt said, listen, no one asks you where you live in Missouri or Kansas when you're out somewhere else. It's Kansas City. And I know we got a state line. It's a big deal to a lot of people, but I'm just glad the Chiefs aren't moving to somewhere else.
No, I think that's first and foremost. And now all eyes shift to the Royals.
Yes.
Let's go.
But it was about the Chiefs, Laura Kelly said.
Yeah.
It's about the Royals. So.
Yeah. The Royals are next on the
The clock
agenda.
has been ticking for a long time on that one.
It has. It has. Todd, great work. It's been great working with you on this. You've done a lot. People should know. Todd has spent a lot of time on this as well. Great work again today, buddy, and we'll talk with you tomorrow.
All right. See you soon.
All right, born in the state, Hall of Famer Steve Carlton, 2 different hitters, hit 10 home runs off lefty. Name either one.
Trent Green joins us here in the program to talk some NFL football. We'll talk a little stadium here first. Trent Green has played in a dome. Let's welcome former Pro Bowl quarterback for your Kansas City Chiefs, turned CBS color analyst. Trent Green is with us. Trent, how are you, buddy?
Trent, doing well. Obviously a pretty historic day for the city of Kansas City and for the Kansas City Chiefs. So, we'll get into the football part of it, the actual playing part of it. But, yeah, it's a pretty historic day.
It is. And the good news is, and I think, I hope eventually, I know some people in Missouri are going to be disappointed because they liked having the Chiefs in Missouri. And I get that, and I understand it, but I think the most important thing is that the Kansas City Chiefs are staying in the Kansas City metropolitan area. I mean, I don't think there was ever a threat of them leaving, but I think it's because, one, the Chiefs did a good thing. Well, let me go ahead and take offers from both sides of the state, which forced each side to give their best offers first. No shenanigans, no screwing around, no dragging this out. Chicago's been messing with their stadium since before the Chiefs even got going, the Royals and Chiefs even got going. They're still not there, and now they're talking about Indiana for that. I think, a tip of the cap to, there's one failed vote, and they pivoted and said, okay, give us your best shot on each side. Here's what we're looking at. And they got it done. I think that's the most important thing is that the Chiefs aren't going anywhere. Do you agree?
I do agree. I lived in St. Louis. I grew up in St. Louis. It's not even comparable how, you're talking about different sides of the state line and that kind of thing. I never really know, or most of the time you don't really know, which side of the state line you're on. You're just Kansas City, and it's interesting when you talk to people around the country, that aren't familiar with Kansas City, that they don't even understand that it's two separate states that the city encompasses, right? And so I've never really thought of it that way. Obviously, there's money and taxes and schools and different mayors and different governments and all that. I mean, there's clearly a separation of the two, but Kansas City has always just been Kansas City, right? It's never and never really, at least until recent political times, right, has been that divided on all this. But it's I think it's a good thing they're staying here. It's a team that should be here. I mean, I know they started off in Dallas, but they left Dallas for very different reasons, and I think it's important that they stayed.
Yeah, I do too. What do they gain? What do they lose by moving to a dome? You've played outside, you've played inside. What do they gain or lose?
Well, I think the biggest thing you gain is it's year round. You can host the Super Bowl. You can host the Final Four. I mean, you imagine the NCAA saying we're going to have a Final Four, 20 minutes from Lawrence, where the rules of basketball are, where the Jayhawks are. I mean, it's like college basketball is huge around here. So I think there's so many things. All this concerts and entertainment and all the stuff that goes along with it. But I think part of the big draw is the Super Bowl. And with the World Cup coming, with the draft already being here, with the way downtown is expanding and adding more hotels, with the current, building their stadium on the river, and now, you can get mass transit all around downtown. The city's just growing. It just continues to grow, and a big reason for that, the success of the Royals. Making back-to-back World Series, and obviously in the recent years is all the success that the Chiefs have had from a sports standpoint. So it's there's a lot of benefits. You can get a lot more with it. The negative is you lose the outside part of it. You lose you lose some of the temperature stuff, the wind stuff, the element stuff. That was something that Buffalo really had to deal with. That was something that Miami had to deal with when their new ownership took over. They did the tarp system down there just to try and keep some fans in a much different level. Down there it's more the heat than it is the cold. The Packers did a major renovation and they decided to keep it outside. The Colts have a retractable roof and they rarely have the roof open. I think that's really what it came down to in terms of, if they do a retractable roof or a regular roof. I think they're going, I don't know what was mentioned today, but I'm thinking they're not doing a retractable roof because a lot of the stadiums that have retractable roofs never really open it. So there's pluses and minuses to both of it. But I think from an economic standpoint, there's a lot more pluses because it's a year-round facility.
Yeah, my understanding it is that it is just going to be a regular dome, no retractable roof, for one of the reasons you said. But I have heard talk that they're going to have a retractable field, and which I think is a good idea, because I think if you can roll in, if you do it like, I think what I would do is like what Tottenham does, and I know the NFL plays over there in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They have a grass field, they have a turf field, and then on the bottom you can roll both of them out, and then you can have for conventions. I know in Glendale they pull that grass out, and on the bottom, I saw it before they opened it. We did a tour when we were out there at spring training one time. Like every 6 feet or 8 feet or something is electrical and data lines. So like if you wanted to do a convention or like a a big, some kind of show, like what do you call it, like a big construction show, and set up booths and everything like that.
Big convention, you could do, major convention.
Yeah,
right.
so if you can roll that field out, that gives you even more uses. Plus, you roll that field out, and it's not getting damaged when you have a concert. They're standing down on the ground, so.
Right.
I've heard.
And the Raiders did that, their new stadium, too. The grass is only for the Raiders. The turf is in there for UNLV that plays there, and then they can, whatever conventions and stuff they want to do there. So, but yeah, no, that's a great point.
Yeah, and so I hope we see that. And then the training facility over in Olathe, they've got a chance to develop all that area and create new revenue streams, because those revenue streams are not shared, and that's one of the places where the Chiefs are losing. And the Chiefs really do. We always talk about how much they spend on the cap, but there's also how much they spend cash wise, and that's where in free agency they get outgunned sometimes with the big free agent dollars, the big signing bonus dollars the other teams will throw around, and that's harder to do when you don't have all those local revenues. So this theoretically should make the Chiefs more competitive on the free agent market as well.
Well, it just gives you more cash. Just basically what you said. That's why the NFL now has allowed every team, if they want to do up to, I believe it's 10%, they can do to private equity, just because, some of the teams just don't have the cash flow, right? And so if you sell a portion of the ownership stake to get the cash flow, well, I don't think the Hunt family is interested in the private equity cash flow thing. This is an opportunity to where they can help develop things and bring things in, and they've got multiple arms to what they're doing from a business standpoint as a family. That was something Lamar did years and years ago. So I think it has more to do with the cash flow for the team and making them competitive from that standpoint, without having to do the private equity thing and get an influx of cash that way, which a number of teams have already done, and there's a number of teams that are continuing to look at it because it's an opportunity for that cash flow.
Let's talk a little bit about the football team. We're talking to Trent Green here in the program. The big takeaway that we had on this was, you ever thought Patrick Mahomes wasn't really, really good? Boy, you know it now, because this was an inferior opponent that they were going up against, and they got crushed, right? While trying. Was like, but they had all these other rookies out there. This wasn't like what we saw against Denver last year, where you could hide behind, we didn't play the big boys. They played all the big boys, and they got crushed. I mean, like, if anything, we can tell that how much Patrick Mahomes means, and maybe how much work they have to do on the rest of the roster.
Yeah, it was not pretty. It was tough to call. It was, going into it, talking with the Titans and talking with their coaches. They were a very motivated team. They know they'd only won 2 games, but they felt like they had played well the previous 2 games against the 49ers, even though they lost that one. And they just, the win they got against Cleveland, which obviously has a really good defense, but they were able to do some things in that one. So they felt good about, what they had going in. They knew they had a bunch of young guys. I know they were worried in the secondary. They had, I think, 3 of their 5 guys they had in the secondary were guys that were elevated off the practice squad maybe like a week ago. 2 of them were from practice squads of other teams, so they didn't even know the defense all that well. It was there were some concerns there, but because Mahomes wasn't playing, they felt better about their chances because they felt good about their front 7. They felt good about what they have up front. They felt good about their linebackers and obviously the injuries that the Chiefs had to their offensive line, going with their 5th and 6th tackles. and Trey Smith coming back after missing 3 games. They felt good about their attack, and they went out and executed. I think that's the thing that maybe surprised me. I knew the offense, especially when Minshew went out, I knew the offense would struggle a little bit. I was surprised at how well the Titans offense did against our defense. Pollard, he ended up running for 100 yards. I thought Cam Ward, that was the best game he's played all season. He completed 75% of his passes and did a really good job of making some incredibly accurate throws. So I was surprised. It'll be they've got to regroup. I said this at the end of the game. I said they better regroup because, and this was before Denver had even played. I was saying, I'm like Denver's going to come in motivated. Now all of a sudden Denver lost by 2 touchdowns. Knowing Sean Payton, he's they're going to come in here with a bad attitude, and if the Chiefs don't do the same thing, it could be equally as ugly. So yeah, I was shocked by that. I was shocked by the performance.
Is that the other thing it shows us? Motivation. It's important. I mean, that this is a team. Some other teams might be fired up to go try to get to 9-8. Let's get our first winning record, and say the Browns, if they had a chance to get to 9-8, I think they'd be gunning for it. The Raiders would be gunning for it to be a winning team. Everything that motivates this team is out the window. It's not just how much Patrick Mahomes means to this franchise, to this team on the field and maybe even off the field, but it's also how much having something to play for means. When you don't have it, because the defense is the most notable part. The defense has been really good this year, right? And even coming down the stretch, the defense has been really good, and they got, like you said, shoved around by a Titans team that hadn't been very good. It seems to me that's just okay, lack of motivation makes it really hard to play this game at the highest level.
It really, this game, it starts early, right? It starts when you're a kid, and whenever it is you start playing, whether it's grade school, middle school, high school, all the way up through all the levels. The team, and coaches use this phrase, the want to, right? Who wants it more? Who is going to, whether it comes with training, whether it comes with preparation, whether it comes from day to day getting yourself ready. I mean, there's so much that goes into it, and yeah, it was pretty clear early on that the want to, and I'm not saying that the Chiefs didn't try. I mean, they were trying. There were guys flying around. There were guys putting in maximum effort. But it was you could tell, and I'm guessing you guys could see that on TV as well. In person, you could see the want to part of it was there more for the Titans.
Are you surprised that they didn't play more of the young guys, more snaps?
I think because of the way it was going, that they were just trying to, because I had asked Andy that, and I believe he answered it during the week as well, as far as playing some young guys. He's like, listen, we're going out. He's like, we don't have a lot of extra guys anyway. We're playing the guys we have. Everybody that's dressed and active is going to have an opportunity to play, just because there are a lot of injuries. There's a lot of guys on IR. There's a lot of guys still that are banged up. You're going to see a lot of different bodies. So he wasn't shy about the fact that hey, I'm not just throwing guys out. I'm throwing the guys that are available. And I thought that was pretty clear when you look at the rotations and some of the stuff that was happening and the guys that were playing, the personnel groups that were going on. But yeah, and like I said, and I want to reiterate, the guys that were in there, they were playing hard, but it's a difference between, hey, I'm giving maximum effort, but I'm giving, it's like, once again, I just go back to that want to part, and there's just a difference. It's like saying there's a difference between preseason football and regular season football. There's a difference between regular season football and playoff football. And then there's, you get to the championship game, then you get to the Super Bowl. It's whatever that ultra focus is you need to have during the week, preparation, take care of your body, sleep, food, nutrition, massage, healing, oxygen tanks, whatever it is you're doing to prepare. And then I'll ultimately, film study, game planning, practice, and then transition that to game day. I mean, it's a full commitment. It's not a show up and on game day I'm going to try hard. It's like if you haven't put in the work during the week, it's going to be exposed. I'm not I'm not saying I wasn't there all week to see how the preparation went, but once again, it just seemed that the Titans were a little bit more want to.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I just, that to me is what I think a lot of people are saying makes it even more frustrating. Okay, you sent the front line out there and you got crushed. Like, we didn't mind so much watching Denver crush the backups. And, when does Jeffrey Bossa play on defense? Like, there are a lot of fans. Look, the Chiefs have earned the right to do whatever they want. I mean, Andy Reid's forgotten more about football than the rest of the town combined. And so I get it. And I'm not like, oh, my God, how could he? Why didn't you do this? Like, oh, shame on, but it is kind of like, to me, one of the things I would have thought about is, one, I think Andy Reid's been around a lot. He had to have known this kind of game was a possibility, right? He's seen teams that are not motivated. And
yeah, there was definitely a letdown. And I'm sure he felt that and was trying to do everything he could to prevent that from happening. But it's human nature too, right? I mean, this team had gone to 3 straight Super Bowls. And all of a sudden, it was a devastating loss to the Chargers. After the Houston game and a Dallas game, and I mean, it's just, you look at the losses and how many close losses there have been, and it was. I'm sure he saw it coming. He was just hoping that wasn't going to be the case.
I think the two guys that the fans are worried about is like, okay, if you don't, because there are guys who played more. Like Noel Williams played a number of snaps, right? Like that happened. Yep. There are a number of guys who did play, whether because of injury or just because he gave them more snaps. But it's like when you don't see Brashard Smith play much. He had 8 snaps with the offense compared to Isaiah Pacheco getting 33. And when you don't see Jeffrey Bossa get any snaps.
Jalen Royals, 3 snaps.
3 snaps.
40-some to Juju Smith-Schuster.
I think there are a lot of fans going, well, are these just bad draft picks? These guys can't play? I mean, I think, and again, the goal is not to, make the fans feel better. But, right. You are in the entertainment business and you are wanting to sell tickets. And I think a lot of people wanted to see, like, okay, are these guys, Leo Chenal's a free agent. Is Jeffrey Bossa going to step in? Is he going to be ready to go? Didn't get a chance to see it. I think those are probably the 3 guys that really jump out at people for not getting on the field.
Some of it also has to come down to number of snaps. They got to 100 yards on the 2-minute drive at the end to get the field goal. At the end of the first half to get the field goal. That got them to 100 yards. They only had 33 yards in the second half. So I don't even know. Do you know the number? I mean, I think total plays was probably in the 40s. But what was the difference? How many actual snaps did they have in the second half? That would be.
Ooh. In the second half,
I can find that.
Yeah, we can figure it out. I mean, they only had 43 total to 70 by the Titans. So in the second half, it
definitely was less than 20 then in the second half, right?
16.
16.
Yeah,
man, they've had a series where they've had more than 16.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Yeah, because Juju had 41 snaps and it was 90% of the snaps in the game. Only the offensive lineman had more than he did.
Wow.
Yeah, it was rough all around, no doubt about it. We're talking to Trent Green here. We got to break early because we got KU pregame coming up tonight, so we'll get to our Final Four. We'll move fairly quick, Trent. We got a little time, but we got to move fairly quick. Okay. In your mind, tell me, Indiana -6.5 versus Alabama. Who you got?
Oh, I'm taking the Hoosiers. Are you kidding me? That's 100%. And I think did I just read today that like one of their top receiver is declaring is either transferring or going in the draft, and so he's not going to play in the game. Is that accurate? I thought I read that today that one of Alabama's top receivers is not going to play in the game.
Wow, in the playoffs and going to bail. Like that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I thought I saw that today. But even if he does play, I'm going with the Hoosiers. You know that.
Yeah. But it's just fun watching Indiana lay 6.5 to Alabama. I love that.
Defense is good.
All right. Can you tell me when the last time the Chiefs were 12.5-point dogs at home?
Oh, my gosh. 12.5-point dogs at home. It would have been pre-Andy Reid.
Yes. Oh, yes.
So let's go... I guess what would that be? 2012, maybe.
Okay, good guess because they were pretty bad.
You were 7.
You were 7. It was 1977 the last time they were 12.5-point dogs.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. All right. What's your prediction? Broncos and Chiefs. What do you think is going to happen? think it's going to be a
Unfortunately,
competitive game?
I think Bronco. I think they're going to come in here and just be incredibly motivated after getting punched in the face by the Jaguars. They're still in the hunt for the number one seed. So they're still a part of that mix. It was interesting to see. I was just reading some of the notes CBS sends out. There's still, I believe, there's 6 teams in the AFC still have a chance at the number one seed, which just blows my mind. There's only 2 teams in the AFC have clinched the playoff berth, but there's still 6 teams alive for that number one seed. So I think that's an important thing, So, yeah, I see them coming in here and being highly motivated.
Okay. And finally, what is the best dome? Like if the Chiefs are going to build a dome, who they got to knock off to have the best dome?
Wow. Out at SoFi, it's not technically a dome because it's open air on the sides.
Right.
But the technology and all the bells and whistles and everything in that are just phenomenal. Dome-wise, I guess you'd have to say AT&T. Just because Mercedes-Benz down in Atlanta, all the video boards are up above, so everybody has to look up. So I'll go AT&T with an actual closed-in dome.
That's Dallas, right? AT&T?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, there it is. We know what we got to shoot for. Trent, great stuff as always. We appreciate it. We'll do it again next week.
All right, have a Merry Christmas, everybody.